Regular season over. I know technically that's not true, and they've got a game Sunday to wrap up the official regular season, but make no mistake about it. Warriors Clippers Sunday, the postseason starts there. The implications are massive. Win, you're in the playoffs. You get a week off. Lose, you're the 7th seed. It's literally that simple. And so we're going to preview that game. We're going to talk a little bit about tonight's domination by the Golden State Warriors. Nothing dramatic or surprising there. The Portland Trailblazers stink. They weren't playing any of their guys. The Golden State Warriors sweep the season series over Portland. But now the real season begins. We're officially there, in my mind. Unofficially there by the NBA standards. Warriors Clippers. Let's preview that. Got some sound from Steve Kerr, which wasn't positive from my perspective. I'll explain what I mean there. And we'll examine some lineups. People have been focused a lot lately on net rating. Let's talk about the one net rating measurable statistic that actually matters. And that's, maybe let me rephrase that. The net rating that is actually objective, that represents reality. 5-man lineups. Let's examine which ones are the best for the Golden State Warriors. Let's hopefully have some fun. It is Friday night. That's always good news. And this is the Golden Days. Also good news.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
We are going to win the championship.
Wow. Let's go.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Welcome to the Golden Days. I am your host for the evening, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild. Over on Twitter, my handle is Surf Journalist. The program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. How's everyone doing tonight? Chat's lit up. I don't think it would be a normal night if we didn't have Kuminga haters, and I see one right off the bat. William Stuzen, I like the handle. Hello, right back at you. And let's get into the program that covers the Golden State Warriors. We're coming to you live immediately following the Warriors sweeping the season series over the Portland Trailblazers, winning tonight by a final score of 103-86. This game, outside of the very beginning, was not up for debate. Maybe the most noteworthy aspect of it, Stephen Curry injuring a right thumb that has bothered him for most of the season. He banged it early in the game, went to the tunnel, vanished for a good while. It was questionable to return. He did come back and played some good basketball. The thumb injury, he got a wrap on it. Doesn't look serious. Steph finished the night with 14 points on 6 of 14 shooting from the field, 2 of 8 shooting from beyond the arc. Again, 14 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds for Wardell, who is undoubtedly focused on Sunday. Jimmy Butler is our player of the game tonight because he had a great game. And when you hear the line, you'll understand why. The box score and the stats more specifically, 24 points for Jimmy Butler, 6 of 10 shooting from the field, even put up 2 3-point attempts, made one of them. But the stat that sticks out the most, I think, is the free throws. Side note, Jimmy Butler leads the NBA when it comes to your percentage of points coming from the free throw line. Jimmy Butler, I think, gets 34% approximately in terms of what percentage of his total points come from free throws. 34% of them. And tonight's a good example why. 24 points again for Jimmy for tonight. He led the team in scoring, a perfect 11 of 11 shooting from the charity stripe. For Jimmy, added 7 assists, added 5 rebounds. So Jimmy Butler III is your decade's player of the game. Yeah, what the F is fashion? I think you said that pretty astutely there. Jimmy was Jimmy tonight. And what Jimmy did probably in terms of the most valuable aspect of his contributions for this evening was making sure Stephen Curry did not have to come back into the game so that he could be rested up and ready for that massive heavyweight fight Sunday against the Clippers, which, again, we are going to preview because that's really going to be the focus of this show. This game, I'll read some stats real fast. In addition to Jimmy Butler, again, our player of the game, I thought Moses Moody was a quietly efficient night for him. 9 points, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Was 2 of 5 shooting from beyond the arc. Maybe the stat that's most important, that's 40%. You like seeing that. So Moses Moody did well. Brandon Podziemski had a slow start to this game from a 3-point shooting perspective. Start of the night, 0 of 4 shooting from deep before making his last 2 3-point attempts in the fourth quarter. Finishes the game with 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. And from a net rating perspective, a plus 31. So his minutes were very valuable out there tonight. Jimmy Butler, by the way, I forgot to mention, was also a plus 22 when it comes to net rating. A welcome sight tonight, I thought, Quentin Post, whose minutes were invaluable. They're invaluable all season. When we get to the net rating part of the show tonight, meaning which 5-man lineups on this team produce winning basketball at the highest level for the Warriors, you may or may not be surprised to see Quentin Post's name in a lot of those lineups, especially in the top 5. Quentin Post tonight, after missing the last, I believe, 2 games due to illness, an illness that we heard enough of a hint on tonight's show to get a better understanding of what it was. My guess is food poisoning was the culprit. We heard some mention tonight from the broadcast crew that it was some sort of stomach issue. He couldn't hold food down. And that would make sense because food poisoning, not contagious. So you could be around the team. But at the same time, if you've ever experienced food poisoning, I have, unfortunately, I don't wish that on anyone except my absolute worst enemies. It is an awful experience. It is, every time I've had food poisoning, I've literally felt like I was dying. Like I honest to God, as I'm sitting, resting on the porcelain, praying to the porcelain gods, every single time I have food poisoning, all I think of is, oh, so this is what dying feels like, and end this misery, please. It sucks. And so Quentin Post, I don't know for sure what the illness was, but I'm guessing that's what it was. Simon 2 in the chat getting right into the rotation questions, asking, why is Gary Payton II playing over Guy Santos? Great question. And I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. But GP2, another player who had missed, I believe, the previous 2 games, was it 1 or 2? I can't remember. I'm sorry. In his case, it was knee soreness keeping him out. He came back tonight, played the type of minutes that I hope we see from GP2. 14 minutes, 14 seconds. That's a number, at least I personally can stomach a lot better than when it's like in the 25-minute range. So GP2, not much in the stat department. 2 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist for Gary Payton II. But he did have some great defensive plays in this game. Why did he play more than Guy Santos, who only got 5 minutes, 25 seconds? Well, I think you know the answer to that rhetorical question. Guy Santos tonight did not have a good night statistically, but that has also been the story of Guy Santos for most of the season. Stats have not reflected his contributions to the Warriors in terms of their success this year, but the energy, the size, even the ball handling and shooting, invaluable. I personally love Guy, aka Gooey Santos. BC in the chat. Not just saying go Lakers. So this is an LA invader on the Golden State Warriors chat tonight, but following that up with the Clippers are going to blow the Warriors out. You might be right. I don't know. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, and I'm going to guess some folks will want to come on the show and express their thoughts as well. We'll do that for sure. I saw someone in the chat ask a question. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Yeah, R. Jonesy, by the way, bringing up food poisoning as just being an absolutely miserable experience for any human to deal with. It's awful. It is absolutely awful. Where was the chat? There's someone had a question here. Oh, here. Cleverly Done is asking, where do you get your stats? I'm not big on like the whole. There's like 4 or 5 websites that give you their own measure. They give you their own ratings. Like they have their own formulas and they come up with their own stats. And I could give two shits about that stuff because, again, it's subjective. It's literally just their formula coming up with numbers. And then I don't even know what these numbers mean. Look, when it comes to objective, accurate statistics, most of these sites get it from the same place. Where I get them from, because I don't want to pay for it, because there's another site that provides this metrics if you actually spend money. But the one I go to that's free is the NBA. Literally, if you go to nba.com/stats, the NBA has a treasure trove of analytics. You're going to have to spend a lot of time to become familiar with the website and maybe more importantly, to figure out how to find the specific statistics that will broaden your horizons, will expand your perspective on understanding the NBA. And if you ever want help with that, DM me. I'll give you some tips. But yeah, nba.com/stats. That's where I get almost everything. And truth is, that's where most other websites are getting their information from as well, because that's where the database is located. And then Warrior 3, I don't know why I give you attention, but I'll highlight this anyways, saying GP2 is an NBA champion. So is Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. I don't know what the point is of that. Anyways, so the Warriors win tonight. Again, Portland was sitting a bunch of people. Deni Avdija, who's been playing some fantastic basketball, sat out because of a right thumb strain. Jeremy Grant, who I haven't seen do anything all season, missed tonight's game. Scoot Henderson was in a concussion protocol. He was out. Shaedon Sharpe had right knee soreness. He was out. Anthony Simons had a right forearm contusion. He was out. Really, the only player that played tonight for the Portland Trailblazers that has been there consistently all season, contributing, was Donovan Clingan. And he was a menace. 14 points, 15 rebounds. He was a huge reason why the Portland Trailblazers even stayed in this game. It kept it closer than it probably should have been. But yeah, so nonetheless, Portland is wiped out in this game. Their season's pretty much over. Portland drops to 35-46. The Warriors improving to 48-33. Let's give some love to our sponsors real fast, and then we'll get into this Warriors-Clippers game. And I'm going to play some sound from Steve Kerr, which, again, for me was very disconcerting. You'll hear it, and then you can judge for yourself. We'll talk some net rating stats. I'll bring some folks on the show tonight if you're interested on this Friday evening. But first up, in terms of who's paying the bills for this program, who's keeping the lights on, folks that I am eternally grateful for. And right off the bat, leading things off, Decades Official, a sponsor that I hope to have a long-term relationship with. And who is Decades, in case you're wondering? Like, what is this name? Why do you bring up a word that defines a time period? Well, it's the name of a band. They produce music. And the reason why they call themselves Decades, I'm guessing, I actually don't know the exact reason, is because they play music covering decades of time periods. Music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up through today. Let me share my screen for the YouTube audience so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of just who these folks are, what they do. They're all about having fun, and they're all about livening up your event. Whether it's a wedding, whether it's a company event, whether it's an anniversary, fundraisers, birthdays, even just a good old-fashioned backyard rager. Which, side note, if the Warriors win the championship this year, not only will I get a Steve Kerr tattoo, I will throw a backyard. I'm going to throw a party. I don't know if it's going to be in my house, but we're gonna celebrate big time. And we'll have Decades come and play that show. Why not? But you can hire them now. They're local. They're Golden Dazers. They love the Warriors. They love this program. And they also love the 49ers, as evident by the fact that they actually played a set for Eddie DeBartolo Jr., the Uncle Eddie, who oversaw 5 Super Bowls for the San Francisco 49ers. This was at a 4th of July party in Montana. They host fundraisers. They play music at fundraisers for the Biletnikoff Foundation, run by former Raiders wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff. They are the official band for every San Francisco 49ers red zone rally party at every home game. It's them playing music. And what music are they playing? Everything from Chuck Berry to Katy Perry, covering a time span from the 50s to today, music for all age groups. And if you want to hire them for your event, reach out to Kyle at atomicmusicgroup.com. One more time, Kyle at atomicmusicgroup.com, or you could follow him on social media at decadesofficial. You can also go to their website, decadesofficial.com. It has everything you need right there. Hire these folks. They're good people on top of everything else, insanely talented. I went to their YouTube page just the other day to listen to some tunes. They're talented. They know what they're doing, and they know how to produce music that will just make you feel nostalgic, make you feel sentimental for the tunes that evoke memories correlating with that song and that band and all the good feelings you get from music. Go check out Decades. They'll provide more of that for you. Tonight's episode also brought to you by Visit Humboldt, a beautiful destination. If you're in Northern California, just looking for a place to go. I mean, I feel like one of the struggles in life is figuring out where are we going to go for a trip, especially if you're a family man or woman and you've got to lead the charge in terms of planning, destinations, ideas, being proactive. Well, that's what Humboldt, and more specifically Visit Humboldt, is as a resource for you. It's beautiful up there. I am constantly surprised by how few people who call themselves residents of the San Francisco Bay Area or Sacramento or anywhere in this region that we call Northern California, even though geographically it's Central California, go enjoy the beauty. Enjoy the old giant redwoods and sequoias, the national and state parks, the breweries, the wineries, the restaurants. Do not miss out on the Samoa Cookhouse if you go up there. Do not miss out on Steelhead Brewery, one of the best beers I've ever had in my life to this day. Go have fun and thank me later. Visit Humboldt.com is a great resource for places to stay, things to do, or you could use me as a resource. I'm a former student of Humboldt State University, which now calls themselves Cal Poly Humboldt. I loved my former home, so much so I still visit at least once a year. You should go visit. Have fun. And again, thank me later. Go to visithumboldt.com. And last but not least, MyBookie, the official sports book of Golden Days, at least for this week. Hopefully they'll stay as a sponsor after Sunday. But right now they're hyping up the Masters, which is 2 days in. The Masters are back. There's money to be made, and golf's most iconic tournament is teeing off this week. MyBookie is the ultimate spot to cash in on every saving, upset, and Sunday charge. Side note, I did go to MyBookie, and I also looked up other bookies to find out what the line is for the Warriors and Clippers Sunday, because I am curious. If you ask me to guess that line, I would say pick 'em. I have no clue who's going to be favored. I have no clue what the line is. My guess would be pick 'em. And if you want to lay some money down, just go to MyBookie, the website, the sports book more specifically, for this program. Again, I can't thank them enough for sponsoring us as well. Use the promo code MM50, M as in Mary, 50. One more time, use the promo code MM50, and they're matching any donation up to $2,000 that you put in, minimum $50. So bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. What's going on in the old chat here? Let me close that tab. What are people talking about right now? Young West 79 saying he used to, or she, I don't know what the gender is, used to make trips up to Humboldt County and to pick up the swag, to pick up the nuggets, to pick up the crystally, purpley gooey-ness that Humboldt County produces. Good stuff. Yeah, it's notorious for that, among many things. So the Warriors are going to play the Clippers Sunday. And again, what is going to be a heavyweight title bout. What do the Clippers entail? Well, they entail a lot. I'm looking at a database, if you will, of LA Clippers information right in front of me right now. And one of the many things I'm looking at is, what is this team all about? Like, how are they getting their points? How are they suddenly beating the piss out of everyone else? And they've got scoring for starters. James Harden is their leading scorer. James Harden has been a mixed bag when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, meaning There were games where the Warriors beat the ever-living piss out of James Harden. There's also games where James Harden has stung the Warriors. It is not a one-sided affair. And James Harden is the leading scorer for the LA Clippers this season, averaging 22.6 points per game. Norman Powell has emerged. You can make the argument he deserved an all-star selection this year, and you would not get pushback from me for that. Norman Powell averaged 22.1 points per game. That is your backcourt. And that is a lot for the Warriors to handle because, again, the Warriors are small, and we all know that. And the Clippers are a little bigger and very athletic. They have a lot of weapons on their team. Besides having James Harden and Norman Powell as their backcourt, Kawhi Leonard is back. The Golden State Warriors are 0-3 this season against LA. And while Warriors fans can feel comfortable in the notion that Jimmy Butler was not there for any of those games, right? But then again, I don't think Kawhi was either. I mean, Kawhi Leonard missed a big chunk of the start of the season. And I wish I did this research. I'm going to try to find it right now because I don't think Kawhi was available for any of those three losses. I need to confirm that really fast. So the Warriors, the three games that the Warriors played the Clippers this season were all losses. The first one was Sunday, October 27th. That's how long ago it was. And side note, what an insane season this was. A third straight year of just exhaustive chaos representing your Golden State Warriors. October 27th, the Warriors lost to the Clippers 112-104. The first loss of the season for the Warriors. Then the Warriors played the Clippers again on November 18th, and they lost that one in a much closer affair, 102-99. I'm confident Kawhi Leonard was not playing in that game. The third meeting was 2 days after Christmas, and this was part of a long stretch of games where the Warriors were getting their asses handed to them, largely because the strength of schedule was insane. The Warriors played the Clippers just 2 days after a Christmas Day loss to them. And I'm looking at this box score right now just to see if Kawhi Leonard was back, and he was not. So the Warriors have not seen Kawhi Leonard once in any of these games. Now, the good news is neither team has played each other since December 27th. Both teams are night and day different from what they were then. Bad news for the Warriors is that in the same vein that they are, no pun intended, light years ahead of where they were, so too are the Clippers. And when we look at the Clippers again in terms of what the Warriors have to stop here, right? James Harden as your point guard, Norman Powell as your two guard, Kawhi Leonard averaged 21 points per game this season, and by the end of the season, he looked healthy. He looks healthy. He looks like he is in tip-top shape. He looks light on his feet, which is always, for me, the litmus test to determine just how good he's feeling. He is moving well. And then, maybe the player that concerns me the most, on top of those three, who combined are averaging nearly 65 points a game, then you've got Zubac, who averaged 16.7 points per game. And Zubac is a Warriors killer. So this is where Draymond Green is going to have an incredibly challenging task because that's going to be his defensive assignment. Stopping a man who has 6 inches on you, watching a man who is brilliant offensively at simply turning around and dropping buckets in. Judith Pierre adding that Kawhi returned after Christmas. Yeah, it was right around that time, but he didn't play in that Warriors Clippers game the last time they played on December 27th. So that's the task. And it's not just those three. The Clippers also added Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's suddenly been playing a serious role for this team. He stretches the floor. So you not only have to deal with Zubac, Kawhi, James Harden, Norman Powell. You also have to keep an eye out on a three-point marksman in Bogdan Bogdanovic, who they acquired again, I believe, from the Hawks. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, in a midseason trade. It doesn't stop there, though. The LA Clippers also have Derrick Jones Jr., who is an athletic freak. Dude at average 10.2 points per game. Terrific two-way player. He can shoot the three, not great at it, but he's not bad at it either. Shot 36% from deep on the year. So you got your hands full, is what I'm trying to say, with this Clippers team. Another player to look out for, Chris Dunn, who can shoot the ball. He's in the starting lineup for this team. I don't think Amir Coffey is going to play. The injury report indicates that he's out because of injury. I also have not been watching the Clippers closely enough to know what Ben Simmons is doing. In case you've forgotten, he's on that team. He's 6'10", and he can also handle the ball. Side note, what is a massive issue for the Warriors? Size. And Ben Simmons brings that, if nothing else. I'm looking at Ben Simmons' game log right now, and he has been playing. In the Clippers win over the Sacramento Kings, I believe this was today, he played 12 minutes. Didn't have an impact at all, really. He had no points, no field goal attempts, had 1 rebound, 2 assists, but did have a block. And maybe that's his role. I've not been studying this Clippers team closely enough in recent months to know what his role is. But I do know the Clippers have been winning a shitload of games. We go back to March 14th, for example, and all I see are wins. I see 2 losses at Cleveland and against OKC at home. And I think that's it. So, and then here's the name, which as weirdly as this may sound to you, freaks me out possibly the most, because as we know, when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, what has become a disturbing pattern this season is watching bench players who normally don't do a damn thing suddenly turn into all-stars when they play the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to guess if you watch the Warriors closely, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. No names who don't do anything, for whatever reason, when they see the Warriors, their eyes light up and the bucket turns into a massive cavern of a hole that becomes the easiest thing for an NBA player to drop buckets in. And that player for LA, which scares me a little bit, and no one talks about this guy at all, even though, and maybe they shouldn't. Again, I'm not studying them close enough to have a firm grasp of what this Clippers team has been doing lately besides just winning. To put it in perspective, I'm looking at the calendar dating back to March 5th. The Clippers were 33-29. 33-29, and they're now 49-32. 49-32, and a little over a month ago, they were 33-29. So they've gone 16-3 in their last 19 games, and the 3 losses were against the Pelicans. That was a weird one. This was back in March 11th. And they lost March 23rd at home to the Thunder by 2 points. And then they barely lost at Cleveland on March 30th. The LA Clippers currently have a 7-game winning streak. Do I have my math right? Yeah. They've won 7 straight. They've got weapons. They've got size. And they've also got a player on their team named Patrick Baldwin Jr. I don't know if Patrick Baldwin Jr. plays much, if at all, but what I do know is that randos light up the Warriors. Patrick Baldwin Jr. is 6'10", and he did have a sweet-ass shooting stroke for the brief time he spent with the Golden State Warriors. And a little bit of a concern for me that a rando like that could show up and just obliterate the Warriors. I could be completely irrational saying that, but when I saw Patrick Baldwin Jr.'s name on that Clippers roster, and then I'm looking at, I'm like, wait, what? And I didn't even know he was on the Clippers, and he's actually playing. And my mind went to a dark place there, because that's what teams do. Anyways, in reality, Patrick Baldwin Jr. is probably not going to be a big concern, but a whole lot of those other players I mentioned might be. Drew Eubanks, a backup center, for whatever reason, turns into an all-star when he plays the Warriors. And he's big, by the way. The Warriors are going to have to deal with him. I think that's it in terms of players to really be worried about. But that's a good list. I just read off probably, 10 names, 11 names. So that's what's on the line Sunday. Warriors and Clippers. If the Warriors win, they are the 6th seed. If the Warriors lose, they are the 7th seed. And if they lose, then they play Tuesday against whoever the 8th seed is. And that 8th seed could be Memphis. Could it be someone else? I mean, I guess if Minnesota loses, there's a possibility they could fall there. But that game is going to be, it's going to be wild. And the stakes are high. And that leads us to this soundbite of Steve Kerr. And this soundbite is why I am very skeptical of the Warriors' chances this postseason. And I'll let you hear it for yourself. A day ago, Steve Kerr was on 95.7 The Game, the flagship radio station of the Golden State Warriors. And he does this every week. They have a prearranged annual weekly show, kind of like Rick Barry does with his show. Our little operation, yes, does have a weekly Hall of Famer appearing on the program, a former Finals MVP for your Golden State Warriors. And Rick, side note, will be our guest Sunday immediately following Warriors and Clippers. And then Ryan Leong will join us from Chase Center a little later in that same show. So Steve Kerr does a weekly hit with the afternoon drive time show of 95.7 The Game, a radio station which is really just a propaganda arm for the Warriors. They have a media rights partnership. 95.7 The Game acts fearful of Steve Kerr. I mean, I don't know if there's any bigger fanboys of Steve Kerr than the host of that network, and which is why I was so surprised to hear a lot of good questions asked of Steve Kerr this week. And one of those questions, obviously, was the player that's become the most polarizing on this roster, and that's Jonathan Kuminga. Now, the question was asked, well, you'll hear the question. I will say this about the soundbite. Important to know. I actually start the clip with him concluding an answer from a previous question, and that question pertained to the Warriors' over-reliance on shooting threes. Steve Kerr was asked basically whether or not in that Spurs loss 2 nights ago, if the team was over-reliant on three-point attempts, if maybe they should have just simplified things, gone for easy twos, something that we talked about on this show as well. And Kerr's answer just to that was a little head scratching. And then it leads to the Jonathan Kuminga part. So sit back, listen to this. It's about 2 minutes in length. Again, this is Steve Kerr on 95.7 The Game, talking about the team's philosophy when it comes to three-point shooting and Jonathan Kuminga's role on this team with the postseason pretty much here. The Warriors-Clippers, that's a playoff game. So the playoffs is here. The season's over. And here is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr.
As a coach, we're in the top, it's 3 or 4 teams in the league, maybe second, I think, right now in three-point attempts. We need to do that as a team. We need to shoot a lot of threes because it's the modern NBA, and we other than Jimmy, we don't have a lot of guys who are scoring and drawing fouls in the paint.
Coach, no surprise to you. There's always a lot of discussion about John.
Hold on 1 second there, because I want to pause and at that moment, just to acknowledge the utter disrespect Steve Kerr just gave Jonathan Kuminga there. He literally said right in that moment, listen to it again. I'm going to rewind this. Steve Kerr literally said they only have one player who can finish at the rim and who can get free throw attempts, and that's Jimmy Butler. This relationship is cooked. Listen to that again.
We're in the top, it's 3 or 4 teams in the league, maybe second, I think, right now in three-point attempts. We need to do that as a team. We need to shoot a lot of threes because it's the modern NBA, and we other than Jimmy, we don't have a lot of guys who are scoring and drawing fouls in the paint.
Coach, no surprise to you. There's always a lot of discussion about Jonathan Kuminga after every game. What are you seeing right now as far as his continued, getting comfortable with the new Jimmy Butler Warriors, and what kind of plans do you have for him in the postseason, assuming that you get there, of course?
Yeah, I mean, every game is different, and I think, Jimmy's arrival took away a lot of Jonathan's minutes at the 4. And, there's no doubt that, as soon as Jimmy arrived and we started winning, we leaned into lineup combinations that enhanced Jimmy because we were winning. And Jonathan was out for that whole stretch. We went 17-3 or something. So we're going to keep doing what's been winning. But it's the lineup with Jimmy, Jonathan, and Draymond doesn't fit real well, frankly. It just doesn't. We need more spacing. We've found other lineups that have clicked, and this is just part of the deal. Being in the NBA, and you got to adapt to whatever's happening with the team. Jonathan's done a great job of that. He's working hard. He's playing well when he's out there. But I'm just going with the lineup combinations that I think are going to give us the best chance to win. And there's going to be nights where he's absolutely part of that, like the Laker game, and then there's going to be nights where I go to Buddy or Moses or Gary Payton. It just changes every game based on what's happening, and I have to read that as a coach. And
again, it's not like he's relying on heavy statistics. And I see a couple of just absolute dipshits in the chat, so I'll address a couple things real fast here. And Jug N, for example, saying, I'm so blind. Yeah, I guess despite the fact that there's no other host covering this game who has anywhere near of an accuracy clip as I do when it comes to analysis, but I'm the one that's blind. Never mind the fact that every opinion that's espoused on this show is double and triple checked by literal NBA Hall of Famers and coaches and execs and players not named Rick. But no, I'm the blind one, right? Because you, the random schmo who is too big of a pussy to come on the show and talk to me, I'm the blind one. Jug, come on the show. Have some guts. Don't be a little pussy bitch. That's what I'm calling you. You're a little pussy bitch. Come on the show and talk to me. Otherwise, shut the F up. And if you're going to continue this, you're blocked. You're because I don't need the distraction. Jonathan Kuminga is 3rd on the team in scoring. Jonathan Kuminga is 4th on the team in field goal percentage. Jonathan Kuminga is 2nd on the team in free throw attempts. Do not forget how important that is for the defense, regardless of the free throw percentage. All right? And again, I don't need trolls in the chat. So if you want to spam, you're blocked immediately, all right? I'm watching right now. He's 2nd on the team in free throw attempts, and yet you morons are going to sit here and say that's not true? Steve Kerr just literally pretended that Jonathan Kuminga does not go to the free throw line consistently. See, here we go. Don't need the insults. And you haters don't bring anything to the show. You haters are not boosting this show. I have no qualms blocking you, all right? So, again, 3rd on the team in scoring, 2nd on the team in minutes. He's one of the team's biggest players. And you're going to sit here and say he shouldn't play. He was pivotal in that Lakers game. And you're going to sit here and say he shouldn't play. You morons will be dead quiet when the Warriors are bounced for the 3rd straight year early in the postseason. That's when you will shut the F up because you're Kerr fanboys and you refuse to admit that this guy has peaked as a head coach and he peaked a long ass time ago. The link's coming soon. Shut the F up, please. It'll come. Again, in what world does any other coach in the NBA look at Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga as power forwards? What other coach in the NBA does not look? Okay, see, and again, Jug N. Don't need the insults. You're out. Peace out, dude. Don't need you, all right? You are not necessary for this show. I've said repeatedly, as long as you're not name calling, as long as you're not being a dick, you're welcome. Differing opinions are welcomed. Name calling is a lie. Like, for example, Memo 2607 saying Jonathan Kuminga can't shoot. Again, 4th on the team in field goal percentage. Last year, I think he was 2nd, but he can't shoot, right? If you want to say he can't shoot the three, fair. He's struggling in that department. I'll respect that. Do not say he's just not a good shooter, period. All right? When the stats do not reflect that. Third on the team in scoring, and he's not one of the guaranteed 5 finishers on this team. How do you justify that? Yeah. Agreed. He can't shoot from outside. Great. And by the way, Major Powers saying you're all hyped for me versus Jug. That guy was not going to come on the show. I'll still post the link. He can use one of his other burner handles to come on. Don't worry about that. Most of these pricks say that and they never come on. And I would welcome it. Jimmy Butler is not a power forward. Jonathan Kuminga, not a power forward. In Steve Kerr's mind, they are. Because Steve Kerr is very narrow-minded. I've used the word countlessly describing him. Obtuse. And it's for reasons like this. Because he thinks that he is a genius for putting Harrison Barnes at the 4 in pivotal moments of a game 10 years ago. And look, it worked. Great. Doesn't mean it working 10 years ago with personnel that made it work then is going to work now with not the same personnel. Meaning, small ball 10 years ago was Steph Clay at 6'7", who's a lights-out three-point shooter. Andre Iguodala was closing games, 6'6", 6'7", physical beast, can handle the ball like a point guard, one of the best defenders the game's ever seen. Draymond Green, and then it was either Harrison Barnes or Kevin Durant. Huge surprise that you got away with small ball then, if you want to call that small ball. But with this version of the Warriors, where Steph is 37, where Brandon Pajemski one night is lighting it up and then the next night is dropping single digits and scoring, that is not Klay Thompson. All right? And Draymond Green is 35, and you're still expecting him to carry the same load he did 10 years ago. Jimmy Butler is not a 4. He was brought in to be a 3, and if you had ingenuity, you'd actually play him at the 2, not the 4. I do agree with this take, which is Angie Givens 86, which is that Steve Kerr has held a grudge against Kuminga since he called his ass out. I totally buy into that. Because Kerr is that petty and that insecure of an individual. I agree with that sentiment, 100%. Major Powers saying, Klay is 6'5", bro. Look it up, bro. I'm not your bro, side note. He is 6'7", dipshit. Here, damn it, I just have to, for the sake of argument, I want to just shut this dude up. Yeah, forget it. I don't want to bother with that. So, and the bottom line is this, all right? If Jonathan Kuminga is not playing considerable minutes this postseason, the Warriors are not winning a championship. And not to mention, you're literally calling out your front office and ownership saying that. Think about that for a second. All right? Think about that for just a second. He literally just said to the public that this big move that my GM and owner made doesn't work. Like he's the smart guy in the room. I'm very curious to see what happens this postseason. The offseason. I am fascinated to see what happens in the offseason because this relationship is cooked. There is no chance in hell the Warriors are giving Jonathan Kuminga an extension and keeping him so that we can continue this madness. That's now 3 years in running. 3 years of this shit. If you're exhausted by it, try covering this damn team. Especially try covering it when all the stakeholders run from you. They only want to be interviewed by ass kissers. Like, Kerr. I mean, this offseason, either Kuminga's gone or Kerr's gone. And look, if the Warriors get bounced early, which is what I expect, if Steve Kerr continues this obtuse approach, thinking that this diminutive style of play is going to work in a postseason that's physical, where you're going to need a lot of easy buckets because shots don't fall as easily in the postseason. You're going to have a huge decision if you're Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. And don't think for a second they're cool hearing that. They swung for the fences with that Jimmy Butler trade, and their head coach, who they're already frustrated with, given the man has never developed talent, ever. Brandon Podziemski might be the first one, but we can't determine that in a month, all right? So, for the sake of argument, let's say the Warriors get bounced early. You have a head coach who has now defied a second GM, because don't forget Bob Myers left for this exact same reason. No general manager wants to take a job where their moves are just shut down by a coach who thinks they're smarter than you. Who the hell wants to do that, man? And there's no chance in hell Joe Lacob is hearing that and going, whatever. No. Joe Lacob was literally, in case you forgot why Jonathan Kuminga called out his head coach, it was because Kerr benched Kuminga for the entire second half against the Nuggets. The Warriors blew, a 20-point halftime lead, while Kuminga, who was largely responsible for that 20-point halftime lead, rode the pine the entire second half. And then after the game, he's like, get me out of here. I have a coach who does not believe in me, who won't play me. Get me out of here. And we're still playing this ridiculous game, man. It's crazy. It's like, so this offseason is going to be fascinating because either, first of all, I absolutely love what Kroenke and what the Grizzlies did. Sending a message to head coaches who have massive egos, reminding them, A, you're not that important, and B, we have the power, you don't. Get the hell out of here if you're going to act like you're a boss. And it definitely opened a door for other owners to look at their coaches and think to themselves, I can do that too if I'm not happy. I hope that happens, man. And side note, Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, they loved Mark Jackson. Do not pretend that when Mark Jackson was let go that they were happy about that. It took them a little while to assimilate to Steve Kerr. It did work out. Awesome. But don't pretend that they're like fragile human beings who can't handle a coach being replaced. Mike Brown's out there waiting, by the way. I would not mind Mike Brown now. I mean, the offseason is a whole different story. But my point is, that is Steve Kerr for you. Steve Kerr, A, would prefer a team being 3-point chuckers, regardless of whether or not they're going in. That part is important. All right? 2-point baskets, especially in the postseason, are insanely important. And you're going to rely on that because, again, players are exhausted in the postseason. Those 3-point shots don't fall as easily in the postseason. And you're going to sit here and treat Kuminga like this? A guy who gives you easy buckets? Dude, this is madness. This is absolute madness. Dr. Sean Stanley is saying Steph will not play for another coach. Want to bet on that? He already did. Again, Dr. Sean, do you really think Steve Kerr or Stephen Curry was happy when Mark Jackson was fired? Go back and read some of the quotes back when that happened. Read some of the quotes before he got fired and how much those guys loved Mark Jackson. Stephen Curry to this day still credits Mark Jackson for turning his career around. And they got over it fast. These are adults, dude. Do not act like they're just like Klay Thompson just a year ago was saying, I can't see myself ever playing for another coach again. 6 months later, had lunch with Steve Kerr, heard Kerr tell him that he might not be starting games consistently and said, I'm out of here. Who cares? These are adults. Come on, man. They'll be fine. It's fine. Michael Jordan said he could never play for another coach besides Phil Jackson. 2 years later, he's with the Wizards. Come on, man. These are adults. Boris Schusterman in the chat bringing up that Stephen Curry saved Steve Kerr in the Olympics. Do not forget that Steve Kerr thought Jason Tatum was not a good fit for the Olympic roster. In hindsight, I'm thrilled that Kerr did that, so that a lot of people who normally look at me as a crazy person here, calling out the coach with 4 chips, the world saw that he is out of his mind when it comes to player evaluation. Do not also forget that Steve Kerr was the GM of the Phoenix Suns. No one in Phoenix to this day misses him. In fact, they're still pissed at him for the moves he made, for breaking up a Phoenix Suns team that some thought still had juice. Thank you. I was saying thank you, Tim. Ken Mamba, and again, this is where I don't think people are following my message, because Pete Gregory, for example, is asking, am I saying that Kuminga should take all of GP2 minutes? No. What I am saying is that when the postseason comes, if Steve Kerr is giving not just Kuminga, Moses Moody, Quentin Post, and Guy Santos's minutes to guys like GP2, then yes, they're going to lose. Because GP2 is 6 feet 2 inches. And he's not an elite offensive player. He was elite defensively, still good defensively. I'm not going to sit here and blast GP2 on the defensive side of the ball, but he's not the same guy he was in 2022. He is not elite offensively. And he is not beneficial to this team in the postseason, again, when you're running 3-guard lineups. GP2, Pajemski, Steph is kryptonite. What I am saying is if you see that a lot, the Warriors are screwed. And they need Kuminga, man. You need him. You need his size. You need his athleticism. You need his defense. You need the easy buckets that he provides. He's 3rd on the team in scoring, man. Why do his haters just never acknowledge that? 2nd on the team in free throw attempts. Free throw attempts at a bare minimum, even if he's not making them. I don't know why I have to keep repeating myself so much like this. Side note, Jonathan Kuminga tonight, 6 of 8 from the free throw line. That is not bad. That's 75%. You can live with that. 10 points, 5 boards on the night for Jonathan Kuminga. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Steve Kerr routinely fails when it comes to playing the right players at the right time. And that is one of the biggest responsibilities of a head coach. Wainster dropping $6.99. Thank you, saying the Warriors did their part tonight. They had grit. They have Jimmy Butler saying double zeros. Jonathan Kuminga's number saying we need you. Practice your free throws. Sink the Clippers, then rest. Another $6.99 from Wainster saying take tonight's recipe and bake the Clippers. Defense, low turnovers. The Warriors tonight, again, they gave up 86 points to a Trailblazers team that was missing almost every important player. But the Warriors, in terms of turnovers, they had 15 of them tonight. A lot of those might have been in garbage time. Draymond had 2. GP2 had 3. Guy Santos had 2. Kevin Knox, the second, had 2. And then you had sprinkled around a bunch of players with 1 turnover tonight. But I hear what you're saying. Armando Lara, $4.99. The Professors. Anyone else rooting for Kerr to go down in the play-in with 3-guard lineups and Kuminga benched? Can Kerr really hide from that outcome? I would normally say I understand what you're saying and agree with you, if not for the fact that I feel like Steve Kerr is a damn cat with like 9 lives, where for whatever reason, if that happened, ownership would probably go, yeah, but dude, we won 4 titles together. We're just going to trust you another year. If there was rhyme and reason to all this, I'd be 100% with you, Armando. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't have enough faith in ownership to do the right thing and move on if that happened. I feel like they're going to give Kerr like another 2 years of grace, which is just utterly asinine. Yeah, and Ken Mamba brings up a good point. Draymond Green's turnovers, they can't survive those. And, I mean, look, it shouldn't have been that close of a game against San Antonio, but at the same time, those 2 turnovers at the end, that was a bad look. All right, let's get some people on the show here. And while I do that, I'm going to present the net rating winners and losers for the Warriors. Actually, just winners. I'm just going to read off which lineups have been most effective. And I'll show this visually. So, and I'm seeing a lot of people bring up, again, net rating. First of all, if the net rating does not have 5 players in it, it ain't objective. It is not fully accurate because you don't know who the other players are playing with them. Yet, lately, I feel like net rating has been the new toy that a lot of people want to bring up. All right, I'll go to the net rating stats in just a second. Let's get to the audience here. Sean is on the show. Are you?
What'd you say? Sorry.
I said, are you here with us? Good. Sean, how are you doing?
Yes. What's up?
Not mistaken.
Sorry. What'd you say?
I said hi. How are you doing? Floor is yours.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know what everyone's mood is really today. Everyone was expecting the Warriors to beat the Blazers, but did you like that last game still has a sour taste in my mouth?
Yeah.
I think I really like, I know, like, I don't like saying it, but like I just like this team is going to either stay at the 7 or 6 seed, which teams don't really win championships, and I'm starting to see a bit of the flaws of the Warriors. What do you call it? I know this team is 21-6 with Jimmy. So
I think 22 or 23 now. It's been a damn good record.
Yeah,
whatever it is, who cares? Go ahead.
But with all this like small amount of losing, they're still in the 6th seed. So I don't know, man. Like my thing is maybe better luck next year, but you don't want like older Steph, older Jimmy, and older Draymond. And the reason I'm not too excited for the 6th seed or the 7th seed is because, yeah, you're going to play the Lakers, but who do you think the league really wants to see go further, the Lakers or the Warriors?
Good point. I really hope, well, first of all, you're right. If the Warriors get the 6th seed, it's likely Warriors-Lakers first round.
Yeah.
Good news is I feel confident about that matchup, but at the same time, you're right. You're playing against the Lakers and the officials. Yep. No one wants to see that. I'd still rather have them get that week off, though. The week off to me is like a game changer, man. Like the 37-year-old Stephen Curry, 35-year-old Draymond, 35-year-old Jimmy Butler. They need that. Side note: the Warriors were 25-26 when they acquired Jimmy Butler. The Warriors' record currently is now 48-33. So that's 23-7. And I know Jimmy didn't play in one of those games, but it's been fantastic to summarize.
Yeah, it has. I mean, there's a lot of dumb fucking people in this chat. Like, sorry, mind my language, but they don't want to give Kerr any blame, which is crazy to me.
It is crazy.
I know. Okay, look, I agree that JK can't shoot at all from 3. Like, maybe that goes into Kerr's reasoning of not playing him much with Jimmy and Draymond, but like, he's still one of your best players and you're not playing him. You're playing, again, that crutch of GP2 is just crazy, man. Like, imagine if the Warriors had Malone instead of Kerr. Like, I don't know.
I would just think even Mike Brown. Like, Mike Brown, I feel like would be perfect. You don't have to change the system. You suddenly have a coach who makes common sense decisions with personnel. He actually tries to develop players. Side note, I saw Mike Brown and his work ethic behind the scenes, whereas Steve Kerr is a very laid-back individual. Mike Brown is rigorous, dude. He's a grinder. He's the type of guy that sleeps on his couch in the office. Like, his work ethic is unparalleled. He's a brilliant basketball mind. 60% winning percentage. He's won 6% of his games as a head coach, 2-time coach of the year. If you're going to make a change immediately, that's who I'm going to, just because you're not shaking anything up. But and another thing, dude, like, people like to, again, I hear a lot of chatter about the Draymond, Jimmy Butler, Kuminga, them 3 together. Like, they played, I think, 33 minutes this season, and they have like a net rating of I got to look it up. I had it in front of me. All I'm trying to say is the sample size of those 3 playing together is so minimal, dude. Like, 33 minutes together or 38, whatever it is, that's not a big sample size. And all it would take is just one game, one positive game for that net rating to flip back into the positive. And if you're going to cherry pick 3 or 4 man lineups, there's a lot of other ones you could look at as well that you could ask yourself, well, why aren't they doing this? Like to give you an example here, right? So I have all these numbers in front of me. Sorry if I'm stalling a little bit. I'm trying to find everything that I've done research on. Okay, so Jimmy, Draymond, and Kuminga have, I believe, a minus 25 net rating in 38 minutes. Again, very small sample size, right? Minus 25, one massive run, and that's out. You're back in the positive. But you look at other duos and trios, and there's a lot of other lineups you could look at if we're going to go down the net rating path. Like, for example, the foursome of Steph, Pajemski, Guy Santos, and Jonathan Kuminga. They played, I think, 53 minutes together, and they're like a plus 50. So if we're going to rely strictly on just net rating and what lineups look and worst are the best and worst, well, then you better start advocating for Kuminga, Guy Santos, Pajemski, Steph, and whoever the fifth guy is, because they, in 53 minutes, have like a plus 50. I don't have this number in front of me, but I'm ballparking it. My point is, it's you're not getting like accurate results relying on like 2-man or 3-man net rating numbers. You don't know who else is playing with them. To case in point, the 38 minutes that Kuminga, Dre, and Jimmy Butler played together, 23 of those 38 included Stephen Curry. So who knows who was playing with those 3 the other 15 minutes? I guarantee you whoever was playing was not anywhere near as good as Steph, and they're likely tanking that number down. I'm just trying to tell people, don't rely on net rating for 2 or 3-man lineups to make your hard cases, because it's not accurate. There's no way you're going to get a clear-cut picture there. Am I making sense?
Yeah, of course. Like, I just don't know how much longer of a leash Kerr's gonna get.
I hope it's short.
If you flame out in the first round of the playoffs and then or lose in the play-in, do you think they're really gonna keep him? Because obviously there's got to be some change. But I might be making a hot take here by saying I don't think like Steph's gonna win another ring under Kerr. I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
Can you repeat that? Say that one more time.
I don't think Steph is going to win another ring under Steve Kerr.
I don't think it's a hot take at all. I mean, we're approaching 3 years of this. Like, how many more years do you need? I don't think it's a bold take to say that the Steve Kerr era can be chopped up into the first part, which was, for the most part, wildly successful, although you could also look at the 73-win season, for example, and ask yourself, how did you not win a championship that year? You could look at Kevin Durant's 3 years with the Warriors and ask yourself, how did they not three-peat? I know injuries got in the way, but still, again, there's a lot of excuses. But then you look at the last 5 years of the Steve Kerr era, and there's been a lot of this, man. And by the way, I found the number specifically. So the next time someone goes, you can't play Draymond, Jimmy Butler, and Jonathan Kuminga together because, excuse me, they are a minus, whatever that name, minus 25 in 38 minutes, right? Well, if you play Stephen Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and Guy Santos together, those 4 have played 55 minutes together, and they are a plus 38. So why are we not advocating for that then? And I'm being rhetorical saying this. The point is, stop relying on these lazy metrics that don't paint a full, complete picture to make your argument, dude. Sometimes the eye test is enough. I don't need analytics to tell me Stephen Curry is one of the greatest players ever. Don't need it. So analytics, again, the Moneyball stuff, it's great for baseball, for basketball. I don't think it's that necessary, man. Like, I've been watching this game for 40 years. Most of it did not have net rating to allow people to see what is and is not good basketball. And if Steve Kerr's relying on that, oh boy, that just adds to my criticism, man. But there's a lot of people waiting. Sean, any last thoughts before we go?
I'm just gonna say, like, as great as the Warriors have been, I just think they might have dug themselves a bit of too much into a hole before acquiring Jimmy. Like, if you started off the season 23-6 and whatever, they'd be the top 3 seed. So like, so I don't know. Like maybe them being that bad early on isn't gonna do much for them in the long run this
Makes you
season.
wonder, why did you trade for Dennis Schroeder? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many games did you lose because you thought that was the answer? And that was a Steve Kerr production. Mike Dunleavy Jr. does not go out of his way to add a 6'1" guard who is having an anomaly of a season with a Brooklyn Nets team playing in the East, playing for nothing, and he's putting up 18 points a game. Suddenly you fool yourself into thinking, hey, he's perfect. Dude, he was 6'1". That was a disaster, and that was a Steve Kerr production. And they're in this position in a lot of ways because of decisions like that, man.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
We could have had Anthony Edwards if Steve Kerr was actually, somewhat.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other story. And this is why, like, again, that Steve Kerr interview that he did with the game yesterday was the first. I listened to all this stuff, man. That was the first time they actually asked him good questions. And it put him on the spot a little bit. He said there was another thing he said there. Like Steve Kerr was adamant in the same interview that he doesn't believe that a coach and a GM should hold the same title, right? Like he thinks there should be, and he applied the metaphor of separation of church and state, applying that analogy in this case to a front office and a coaching staff. And he thinks there should be a separation. Okay, great. But don't be a hypocrite, man. Don't say one thing out of your mouth and then do another. And the reason why I say that is Steve Kerr keeps like advocating that he's not a GM. He's just the head coach. Then why the hell did you fly across the country for that Anthony Edwards scouting trip and then tell the team and tell Anthony Edwards that he doesn't have the work ethic to be a member of your team? If you're going to be just a coach, stay the F away from those kinds of important decisions. Steve Kerr was also paramount in siding with Joe Lacob in drafting James Wiseman. He did not push back on that. There are interviews publicly published. You could see it with your own eyes. Just Google the damn thing. Google Steve Kerr, James Wiseman, and you will find not too far down multiple stories that show that he said, we like this pick. I vouched for this pick. Either be a coach GM or just stop lying, dude. And he drives me crazy. Sean, I want to get to other people. Any final thoughts before we go?
No, it's all good, man. Take care.
I love you, man. Have a great night. Enjoy the Dub C. I want to bring two people on at the same time because there's a lot of folks waiting. I want to get to everybody here. Let's get to Sachin, who coined the infamous Gooey Santos and Julian. Sachin, we'll start with you. How are you doing?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Floor's yours. Go for it.
I mean, this was kind of a drag of a game, so I don't really want to talk about this game that much.
Sachin, give me 1 second here real fast, because I want to address this. DSGB in the chat is saying, how could we have had Anthony Edwards stop lying? I never lie. If there's one thing that, if you want to interpret this as arrogance, do whatever the hell you want to do. But I don't lie. My entire career is based on my credibility. I'm an academic. I'm an award-winning journalist. I've been doing this for 25 years. My award I won in journalism was for an international story covering record numbers of deportations and what happens to these people on the other side of the Mexican border when 4,000 plus people are homeless in the Tijuana Canal. I was down there. Kid you not, got shot at. A crazy story. Point is, I've been doing this for a damn long time. I don't lie. All right. That's one thing I don't do. I'm not perfect. And if I make a mistake, I'll admit it, but I don't lie. And I'm not lying about this. The Minnesota Timberwolves and Brian Windhorst reported this. It is out there that the Minnesota Timberwolves wanted to swap picks with the Golden State Warriors in 2020. They wanted to get the 2021 first round pick that they traded to the Warriors, which ended up being Jonathan Kuminga. They wanted that pick back. The Warriors could have negotiated that. Point is, the Timberwolves were not sold on Anthony Edwards. They shopped the pick. Warriors had the number 2 pick. They could have traded up for him. They went to a workout with Anthony Edwards in Georgia. Steve Kerr flew out with Joe Lacob and Bob Myers, and at a dinner that night, told Anthony Edwards admitted this in an interview, that he doesn't have the work ethic for the Warriors to draft him. That is Steve Kerr for you. You now see what Anthony Edwards is doing, and hopefully maybe you have a better understanding of why I keep saying Steve Kerr as a judge of talent is ass at it. He's not good at it. If he was, he would not have been fired as the GM of the Phoenix Suns. With all that said, Sachin, the floor is yours again.
Yeah. And by the way, on that point, like, who they drafted was James Wiseman as well, which that did not go well at all. So
No.
yeah, I try to forget about that though. So I mean, for this game, I thought this was kind of a drag of a game, obviously. But the main things I see is one, Jimmy Butler, like when he has something to play for, obviously tonight he had 24 points. I think he was 11 for 11 from the free throw line, so he was attacking the basket, making good plays. But one concern I have again is for like the supporting cast in the playoffs. You need like Projemski and Quentin Post and all these guys to hit their shots, right? So that's one concern I have about this team, whether or not those guys can really contribute in big games. But I mean, we'll see pretty soon here. Obviously, you first have to beat the Clippers to even get in the playoffs, so we can talk about that then. But one thing I want to really talk about is um, Kuminga, right? So I've been seeing a lot of hate of Kuminga on the TL, right, on Twitter, and I find it really weird because people just want to hate on him, but they
Yeah.
don't mention the fact that one, Steph wasn't in like 4 of those games. The competition has been a lot harder these past couple games rather than what it was earlier when you had Jimmy Butler. So people kind of just they don't even throw those facts out. They just kind of have an agenda that they want to push. They don't really talk about the team because like what I see is one, in order for you to make a deep playoff run, Kuminga kind of needs to play like a Jordan Poole style role. Obviously, he's not Jordan Poole. He doesn't want to shoot threes, right? He's not that type of player. But in order for you to win, he needs to be that guy off the bench that gives you a scoring punch and closes some games. Now, he doesn't have to close all of the games, but he should be a big part of your rotation because, and I've said this before, in order to maximize your potential, you need him to play and be playing well. So I don't understand this hate. I find it kind of weird. I don't know if you saw like the soundbite by Steve Kerr, like he was talking about how the team was better like a couple weeks ago, which felt kind of like a shot on Kuminga, which I found really weird.
Well, yeah, and that, yeah, he said the Warriors. I think it was that same cut I played where he said the Warrior. I don't know if it was actually, but he said the Warriors were 17-3 without Kuminga. Never mind the fact that in that 20-game stretch, it was like the easiest stretch of the schedule this season. It's dude. Look, this relationship is done, man. I want to get to everyone else, Sachin. I appreciate you, Julian. I haven't even heard from you yet. Floor is yours, brother. But yeah. This relationship is cooked, man. No matter outside of winning a title this year, one or the other, I feel like has to go. And I'm done like fighting for Kuminga to stay, man. Even if Kerr's staying, trade his ass, dude. This thing's broken. Julian, floor is yours. How you doing?
If we're staying on the Kuminga subject, what I see out there is that he's not being utilized the same way that he was before his injury. And it's frustrating because I see people in the chat. Everyone has their skill sets. I admit Kuminga is not like he did not train to be a facilitator. So if you're asking him to throw the ball into the post or on a key and be Green or Butler, it's not going to happen. But he doesn't have low IQ. That's just not his game. His game is attack and slash and give him the ball. And that's what they were doing the last year and a half, especially when Kerr just finally throws up his arms and says, okay, screw it. And you made some great points. The Nuggets game where he was killing and then set him, or it was a different game. But last year they lost the game specifically because you didn't play Kuminga. He was going to DMP Kuminga against the Blazers, was being blown out by 20 points, put him in the game, and Kuminga saved the season last year. And I know we didn't really make the playoffs. I think we made the play-in. But one thing that frustrates me is, like, one, Kuminga's still on a rookie deal. And when they say he can't shoot threes, he's like, say he's like 9 for 30 of his last 30, something along those stats. They weren't saying the same thing when Clay goes 9 for his last 30. Or how
about Pujemski? Pujemski?
Yeah. Pujemski.
I mean, he's only been hitting it recently, man. He has not been consistent most of the year. But Steve, and this is another thing, dude. Like, why are people turning a blind eye to Pujemski getting this like preferential treatment, like the long leash? Like Pujemski is not looking over his shoulder, never has. And his numbers did not justify the minutes, dude. Now he's starting to deliver. Huge surprise. You give a guy a lot of minutes, he starts to progress, dude. You don't give him big minutes, and you get what happened with Kuminga and to a lesser extent Moody, who's finally delivering late in year 4. Like the Moody, look at Moody, for example. It wasn't until the Jimmy Butler trade that he got minutes, right? How, in what world was it justifiable to give Lindy Waters more minutes night after night after night instead of Moses Moody? There's so many examples
Well,
of this.
Mike G says in the chat that Pod's been balling at the right time. Yeah, we see that he's balling. The point that we're making is that he has been given the chance to work through his mistakes. He's been given a chance to work through his confidence, whatever he needed to. Kuminga has not been given that chance, and that's the frustrating part. Is because like there's nights where Kuminga plays 18 minutes, Pods plays 33, and Kuminga's stats are better on paper, and I think even with the eye test. Kurt said he doesn't like mid-range shots, but now Pods has the green light to take those mid-range shots, but Kuminga doesn't. And it's clear watching the last 2 years the frustration. And back to the Anthony Edwards point, thank God he wasn't drafted by the Warriors. Like, we as fans will love that, but imagine if he was actually drafted, he would not have been playing over Clay. He would have been given the same kind of treatment that Kuminga's getting. Like, I know Anthony Edwards is better, but I don't think Kerr would have ever pulled that trigger to actually start Anthony Edwards over Klay Thompson. He would have been sitting on the bench his rookie year. Second year, we would have all been saying, like, hey, this kid on the bench should be in the lineup, give him more minutes. And Kerr would have said, oh, but he can't shoot threes and blah, blah, blah. You know, you don't let them grow. And you made a great point that Jason Tatum, imagine if we drafted Jason Tatum. You know, like, he would not have flourished in this kind of environment. And
someone in the chat brought up the fact that back in 2020, the Warriors could have drafted LaMelo Ball. And who knows why they didn't do that. My guess is his dad turned a lot of people off, and the Warriors didn't want to deal with that. But even if they drafted LaMelo, I mean, again, I've not seen a single player flourish under Steve Kerr when drafted by this team. Like, Jordan Poole is probably the closest, but then we saw what happened a year after, you know, he was on the verge of stardom. You know, Draymond Green knocks him out. Steve Kerr handles it the way he did. Where's the accountability? This was under Kerr's watch, and no one wants to talk about that. Brandon Pajemski, by the way, real fast, just to highlight the leash that he gets, because the double standard is messed up to me. I don't think this is how you properly develop young players. Brandon Pajemski in the month of November was shooting just 20.7% from deep, 36.7% from the field. Yet he was averaging nearly 30 minutes a game. In the month of December, Brandon Pajemski was averaging 22.2% shooting from deep, 38.6% from the field. In the month of January, he was January finally started to light it up with a 3-point shot. My point is, though, because he shot in January 42.5%, in February 45.2%, but then in the month of March it went back down. In the month of March, Pajemski shot just 29.8% from deep. That is not good. Side note. Yet he's rewarded with 30.6 minutes. Yeah. It just make sense, because
people in the chat keep on saying that Kuminga's not confident, or he didn't take his chances when he was given it. How many like we're talking about Pods? When Pods has a bad game, Kerr does not yank him. Kerr does not reduce his minutes over a period of time because he's not playing up to a certain standard that we will all want. He gives him the chance. Kuminga proved last year that he should be playing big minutes. And he was screwed over with the whole Wiggins, Clay, let's play through that thing. And early on in the season, I don't think he was in the right position. When he finally was in the right position, he started dropping 34 bombs. He comes back, and Kerr's just screwing him over. And to like get off Kuminga, what you said earlier, if you notice, I think the best lineup, and you probably can look up the stats today, was when it was Curry or Pods the point guard, and we had Moody at shooting guard, Butler at 3, Green at 4, Post at 5. I know people are going to say, oh, Post is bad on defense. It's not about defense. It's about putting people in their right positions. But if you notice, the reason why Butler starts off slow for the first 3 quarters is because he's playing power forward. He's just focused on defense, trying to box out people that are bigger than him. That's why he's only scoring 3 points until he finally decides to turn it on. He's not a power forward, and Green is not a center. And if you move these people in the right position, there's plenty of teams out there that have a player out there that is, a turnstile on defense, or you have to protect them on defense. Post gives you enough on offense, and he tries hard enough on defense. So it's not about his defense. It's about putting these guys in the right position. And someone the other day said, oh, when was Jimmy Butler ever a shooting guard? He's made 2 all-star teams as a shooting guard. His first 5 out of 7 years, he was at the shooting guard position. He knows how to play it. And Kerr's always saying, oh, I need ball handlers, Okay, he is your ball handler. He's making 6 assists per game. And so it's like what I said, your take on the lineups is very important. And I think that in order to beat the Lakers, we have to stop this switching. We have to stop this double teaming everyone, no matter what their name is, because LeBron and Luka, they are the best passers to 3-point shooters. And we have horrible 3-point defense right now. And we're not going to get by them with the small ball lineup and playing people out of position. So that's why I advocate to have Post out there over. And I know Moody's been having a great season, but we need people in the right positions. And that's the only way I think that we're going to win.
Julian, you're on fire tonight. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna your entire rant there, again, brilliant, is gonna seg into the lineup conversation. I want to get to everyone else. Julian, are you okay if we balance?
Of course, do your thing.
Have a great night, Julian. You are on fire tonight, and this is what Julian's talking about, because now is a good time. And Josh and Amos Sister next, but check this out really quickly, because I did the research here. It wasn't hard work, but I did it. Just so we can get an accurate look at which lineups are actually doing the best on the Warriors this year. And side note, even I'm getting tired of the Kuminga conversation. We're gonna move on from that. I think every point has been made. I mean, look, if you're in the audience, you want to come on and talk, fine. But I don't agree with where is it right here? Nameless, who writes that this dude, I don't know if you're referring to Julian or myself, is saying would rather the Warriors lose if it means Kuminga gets 30 minutes a game. No, that is like as furthest from the truth as imaginable here. Nameless, the entire argument here, at least for me, the entire agenda, the whole reason why I even care. Go back a few episodes if you're new to this show, excuse me, and watch the episode that Damon Bruce and I did, because he was also curious. Like, what do you care so much? I care about Steph. The entire argument for Kuminga getting more minutes is because it increases Steph's chances. It increases the Warriors' chances of winning a 5th championship. I don't know Kuminga personally. That's not entirely true. I'm not friends with him. I'm not close with him. All right? He's a good kid. He's a great individual, man. There's nothing, as far as I know, I could say that's negative about Jonathan Kuminga. He's just a really good person. But I have no stake in the game in terms of him succeeding. I don't get paid for that. Nothing. I don't get anything out of that. I care about Stephen Curry. I do. It's just he's such a special, once in a lifetime type athlete and individual. And for him to show up here in the San Francisco Bay Area of all places for the Golden State Warriors of all franchises, dude, I mean, I don't know how old you are, Nameless. I'm 46. I'm turning 47 soon. I am getting old. That's crazy. But I'm old enough to remember how bad for how long this Warriors team was before Stephen Curry arrived. Not before Steve Kerr arrived, before Stephen Curry arrived. And he is such again, not just once in a generation, once in a lifetime type of special athlete and individual. And we here in the Bay Area, we who call ourselves member of Dub Nation, we are blessed that he's a part of this. It's like growing up in Chicago when Michael Jordan was winning 6 titles for them. And the whole reason I argue for the Kuminga minutes is because there is, to me, no better option on this roster in terms of players to play to give Steph the best odds of winning a 5th championship. I say that sincerely. I'm being genuine. I look at this roster, and never mind the fact that size matters in basketball, and Kuminga is one of the biggest players on this team. He's also one of the most talented. He's not a great 3-point shooter. No argument there. But he's a hell of a penetrator, hell of a defender, hell of an athlete. He can make buckets in flurries inside the paint. He keeps defenses honest in terms of penetration and the interior. And if it comes down to him or GP2, him or most other players on this roster, especially when you consider he's the third highest scorer on this team, that is my reason for the advocacy. Has nothing to do with Kuminga as a person. Has everything to do with what gives the Warriors the highest probability of winning a fifth championship. That's the extent of it. And if you don't agree, if you think there are better players on this roster, then we can agree to disagree there. I don't see it. And this leads to the lineups. What 5 lineups are the best for the Warriors in terms of net rating? The number 1 lineup, this is before tonight's action, in terms of net rating as a 5-man lineup, is your starting lineup: Steph, Jimmy, Dre, Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski. Those 5 have played 188 minutes together, and they are a plus 73 in net rating. So you can see why Steve Kerr rolls with that, right? Number 2, and this is where, and this whole list I think is fascinating. Number 2, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, Quentin Post. The 109 minutes they've played together, they're a plus 38. Number 3, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Buddy Hield, Brandon Pajemski, Quentin Post. They played 38 minutes together. They're a plus 34. Number 4, Stephen Curry. He's back. In case you didn't notice, Steph was not in the second or third best rated lineups, which again should hopefully convince you most of this net rating stuff is total bullshit. You take it as one of many statistics, because otherwise only 2 of the top 5 lineups have Stephen Curry in it, yet something tells me you're never going to advocate for Steph to not play. 4th best lineup: Stephen Curry, Kevon Looney, Buddy Hield, Gary Payton II, and Jonathan Kuminga. 44 minutes played together, a plus 31. And number 5, Jimmy Butler, Kevon Looney, Buddy Hield, Guy Santos, and Brandon Pajemski. They played 31 minutes together, and they're a plus 31. So what can you take from this? Well, for starters, I don't think it's a coincidence that Quentin Post is in 2 of the top 3. He is a massive positive for this team, whether it's the spacing, whether it's the size, whether it's all of the above, whether it's other intangibles that even I haven't mentioned, who knows? But Quentin Post is in the 2nd and 3rd best lineups of the Warriors. The minutes themselves are very low because the Warriors have changed so much this season. Again, this is a team that not too long ago had Dennis Schroeder, had Lindy Waters, had Kyle Anderson, had Andrew Wiggins. They're all gone. Jimmy Butler only got here 50 on the 52nd game of the season. So a lot of these statistics, it's just almost like this is a season where you just throw the stats out and you just rely on what you see. And I do think it's fascinating, though, that 3 of the top 5 lineups don't have Steph in it. Jimmy Butler's in 4 of the 5. Draymond Green is in 3 of the 5? Yeah, so take that for what you will. But anyways, let's go to Josh. Josh, you're on the floor. You're on the show. Go ahead. Welcome.
I am sick of Steve Kerr with these dumb small ball lineups 24/7. Why is Buddy Hield, Steph Curry, and Gary Payton on the same floor at the same time? Playing Trace Jackson Davis. I'm sick of this mess. Playing Guy Santos or playing Buddy Hield, who went 4 at 13. Does Steve Kerr care about the Warriors for his own benefit. Oh.
Dude,
Oh
the picture's perfect, by the way. The picture's perfect.
The Warriors need to start Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Quentin Post. Kick Moody out of the starting line of small ball is not going to work. You see what the Rockets did to us? They had 6'10" Jabari Smith Jr., 6'11" Steven Adams, 6'11" Sid Goodham, sick of this mess. We're not winning against these tall teams in the Western Conference.
Josh,
Stop the
what
press.
about Sunday? Warriors Clippers.
No. Oh, man, Draymond Green is 35 years old, man. We having him starting someone? Hell no!
You're awesome. Any final thoughts?
No.
I loved it, dude. I loved it. Anything you want to promote? You deserve it. You earned it.
No.
Have a great night, Josh. That and then we go from Josh with Angry Clay going Hulkamania on us, or maybe is it Hulk Smash? I don't know. To the voice of Barry White. Not really, but close enough. Aim assist. Aim, how you doing, Josh? You killed it. Congrats.
Yo, Sai, what up with it?
What's up with you, Aim?
Man, a win against the Blazers. I mean, you supposed to win that, so I hope so. But just some things I want to bring up. I'm not gonna lie, I gotta agree with the haters today. I mean, JK is. I don't want to see him shoot no more threes, like
That's fair.
at all.
That's
Like,
fair. That's fair.
don't shoot no more. Every time he throws it up, bro, it's a brick. Like I don't even gotta look. And I don't agree with the hate talking about he shouldn't play at all. I definitely think he should get more minutes, but as long as we're winning, I really don't care. But Moses Moody, I think his defense has improved, but over the last couple games, his shooting has been really bad. I don't know if you noticed that, but his percentages have been kind of low. So I hope he picks it up by the time the playoffs come, because he's been in a little slump. And Pods he's allowed to have like 2 bad games. He's had some pretty good games. So that's my thoughts on today.
Killed it.
Also, what was I about to say? What did you think about GP2 today?
He looked good. I think he right when he came to the game, he got a steal, and then he turned it over. Look, GP2 is what he is, man. I have no qualms with GP2 as long as he's not playing. When he hits the 20-minute mark is when I started squirm a little bit, man. But 14 minutes, 14 seconds in a win, I'm fine with it. But the Rockets game, that was too much.
Yeah, and something I want to bring up, it's kind of crazy how Buddy ended off the season with 37% from 3. You would think the way he shoots is like 25, so that's pretty crazy to me. My question is, do you think he's been? Well, let me say this: do you think Pods has been better than what Clay has been last year? Like, did he contribute more?
Better.
Would you say the same about Buddy?
Better.
You said better?
I got to mute you every time I talk, just because there's feedback there. I think Podziemski has been better this season than what Clay brought to the table last season. Just my opinion. I think he can attack the paint better. I think the 3-point shooting is pretty much the same. We've experienced a drop-off in that category with Clay. I think defensively, Clay would start to become a liability. Podziemski is not exactly a strength on the Warriors defensively, but I don't know, man. It's almost like an even wash, if you will. What do you think, Aim? What's your take on Clay versus Podziemski?
I think Pod's been more impactful. I think Buddy and Clay this year, they're kind of like a toss-up. I mean, you never know what you're getting from them. Offensively, they both don't play any defense, so you already know that. So I think it's easily a toss-up, but I think we did get better off of trading Clay, and I think Clay regrets it now because they're pretty much in the play, but they could make a run, But what do you think about the first round matchup? I think when people be like, "Oh, we got to avoid the Lakers, the Nuggets." I mean, you're gonna have to play them regardless, So you can avoid them, but
I muted you for a second here just because I can't talk. Every time I talk, there's feedback. Forgive me for that, Aim. Let me answer with this. The Warriors are not going to play the Nuggets in the first round. Pretty much impossible. So that's not a concern. I'm not worried about that. Would much rather take the Lakers. Would much rather take the Lakers in a first round series than going into the play-in where you suddenly lose that week off and you're rewarded with, just a few days off instead of a whole week by taking on a Rockets team who's surging at the right time. We saw what Houston did to the Warriors last game. By the way, I want to give also a shout out to Abraham DeLeon. I'm not sitting here saying, Abraham, that you were right about Buddy Hield, but your take did not sound crazy. Here's what I'll say about Buddy. I'm going to reserve the ultimate judgment on him until we see what he does in the postseason. If the Warriors crash and burn early in their first or even a second round exit, and Buddy Hield is shooting like 32% from deep in the postseason, then it was a disaster of a move. If Buddy Hield is playing just good enough, like he reminds me a lot of Swaggy P in 2017-18. If he does just enough, similar to Swaggy P, where he helps the Warriors get over the hump, then it's a great move. But at the same time, he's such a streaky shooter, dude. Like my biggest issue with Buddy Hield has always been, can you trust it? I can't. I have no idea which version you're going to get. I have no idea which one of his shots are going to go in. I can't get a feel for that guy, dude. But with all that said, I just want to give Abraham DeLeon a tip of the cap, because even though I'm not agreeing with you that the Buddy Hield signing was a good move, I'm not agreeing. I don't think the minutes served them well a lot of the times, but it wasn't as bad as it looked. Do not forget, he went 2 months shooting right at 30% from three. That was a long ass streak. Thankfully, he's rebounded. So props to Abraham DeLeon. Aim, unmuting. Any final thoughts?
yeah, my final thoughts are if you guys think OKC and the Rockets are just easy matchups, well, you're wrong. Like, both of them are, especially OKC. Like, you really can't point out a weakness on OKC. Like, they just really have everything except for their 3-point shooting, but they really just have everything. And I think the West is competitive, and any team could beat any team. Like, if the Mavs were to get in the playoffs, they got AD. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a second round. So I think every team in the Western Conference is very competitive. So whatever match we get is whatever match we get. There is no easy matchup this year.
Honest truth, man, the Lakers are probably the easiest first round matchup. Might sound crazy, but look, first of all, the Thunder are flawed in this regard. They don't have an easy bucket getter down low, which in the postseason I think is vital. It helps tremendously, and they don't have that, dude. Like, OKC modeled their entire roster after what the Warriors did. Except they're not tiny; they're like medium sized. But I think they're flawed, dude. I think what we saw with the Warriors when they played each other 3 times in the season is what you would get in a postseason matchup. The Warriors are not a good matchup against each other. That's just, I don't think the Thunder want that matchup either. But that's just me. I don't know. I'm more worried about Sunday, dude. Like, I'm honestly not thinking ahead beyond that. What do you think is going to happen, Aim, Sunday? Let's just leave it on that note. What do you think is going to happen Sunday? Because that is easily the biggest game of the year. The playoffs start Sunday. Absolute must win. What's your take?
Against the Clippers, yeah, I think that's going to be a dogfight. They almost lost against the Kings. And the Clippers, actually, if they lose to us, they go to the play-in. So they're going to have to play all their starters. So
yes, sir.
I think we just have to exploit the Zubac matchup because, he gets played out. They got to bench him in the playoffs just because people exploit him. And when they play the Nuggets, Jokic is going to just tear Zubac. So I think we got to exploit that, and it's going to be very hard. It's going to be hard, but I think we can still win regardless. This is a different team now.
We'll see. We'll see, brother. You always love you. Love your contributions. Love the mic drops. BC with a cynical take, saying Adam Silver's already given the Warriors all the titles they're going to get. Cool Breeze. Is this true that LeBron James left tonight's game with a groin injury? That is news to me. Let's go to the professor Armando. Welcome to the program, brother. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Cy? How's it
What's
going?
up, brother?
Hey, man. I've been listening to you talk, but I wanted to go back to something you said earlier. I thought it was so on point when you were talking about the frustration that there is between the front office and the coaching staff. Like, I think people who don't follow along closely enough haven't seen this kind of like bubbling uh thing that's going on. And you're so freaking right. The Mike Malone thing is gonna change the game this summer. Um, in last year, the Warriors, after the Nuggets game, when Kuminga made the complaint, they put him in the starting lineup, and they went 10-2, playing Kuminga, Wiggins, and Draymond with Steph Curry. And it was right after there that Steve Kerr got his contract extension. And if you read between the lines on the beat reporters, it was because he was finally willing to play Moody and Kuminga and get the young guys going. He went away from it. They fall out of the play-in tournament, and that year, last year, Julian Bashir just knocked it out of the park. It wasn't the Nuggets game. It was that Blazers game. Steve Kerr in December of last year, Steve Kerr had Jonathan Kuminga DNP. He said he was out of the rotation. They go down by 30 to the worst team in the league. I was at that game, Cy. I kid you not. I was out there with Andres Mian. He can vouch for me. He saved somebody's life at that game. We saw Lacob walk up to Steve Kerr at halftime and start yelling at him at halftime. We fucking saw it. Kuminga plays in the third quarter, he saves the game, saves Steve Kerr's ass. Julian has it right. I just have to just call that out. This whole thing is about this tension between getting Moody going and Kuminga and playing that way. I wanted to say one other thing, but I know I don't want to go on too much.
Real quick, before you continue, just to follow up on that, I would not argue. I would not bring this much passion about the topic if I did not believe with conviction that playing Kuminga 30 minutes a night would result in the Warriors being so much better than they are now. This would be a 53, 54, 55 win team. Again, I guaranteed a championship just a week and a half ago because I believe this with conviction. And I feel like certain people see the game the way I'm seeing it, you included. He's a game changer, dude. Steve Kerr's so rigid. He's such a one-trick pony in terms of what his system is. And the system involves, again, players who shoot the ball fast, who move the ball fast, who dribble the ball a certain way. And if they don't do that, Steve Kerr just is not happy. But I don't give a shit, man. Steve Kerr's also a guy who did not think Jason Tatum was good enough for the Olympic team. Those DNPs were wild, dude. And I'm so glad you said what you said about Joe Lacob approaching Steve Kerr. Just friendly reminder again, Joe Lacob was at the press conference of that Nuggets game afterwards when Kuminga did not play that second half, and he doesn't do that normally. Joe Lacob, dude, I don't know if you agree with me on this or not. A lot of people criticize Joe Lacob and they criticize Bob Myers, right? Everything they do makes perfect sense to me. Even the James Wiseman draft pick, at that time, there was not a lot of pushback, dude. Like, if you were against that draft pick, more power to you, but there was not this narrative of, that's a horrible pick. You got to get Halliburton. Side note, no one was drafting Halliburton that high for good reason, and no one wanted to trade down with the Warriors either. It made sense. It's just no one could predict Wiseman would, need the handling, the development that he needed. He was just so damn raw, and the injuries didn't help. But everything they do makes sense. Everything Steve Kerr does, I'm left going, what the F is that? Like, why is he doing this? Like, I don't question the front office's moves, whether they're right or wrong ultimately in terms of the end result. They make sense when they happen. What Steve Kerr does makes no damn sense, ever. And yet this guy's in charge, man, and he's making $18 million a year. It drives me insane. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. I'm done.
No, man, it's like anybody who says the Warriors are this great organization where everyone's on the same page from the top to the bottom, it used to be that way. It has not been that way for the last 4 years. And that, to me, that's the thing that's getting in the way of Steph Curry's last sort of 4 or 5 years here. Him winning another title, going out the way Tim Duncan did at the end of his career. This is the issue, is that the organization is not on the same page. And, the other thing, I just wanted to say one more thing.
Right.
That
100% right.
that last year in the play-in tournament when Kerr went with Klay Thompson and he went
0 for 10?
0 for 10 in like 35 minutes or something like that.
Well, Kuminga just sat there and watched the whole thing for no good reason.
So a lot of people don't realize that Kuminga was sat in the first half. And when things got real, when it got desperate, he started Kuminga in the third quarter. And Kuminga was actually the reason they got back in that game. He brought it down to like 4 points.
And then pulled him.
And then he just pulled him. And then they lost the game.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the original sin of this year. How do you go from that point to preseason where Kuminga is competing for minutes at the 4 and the whole system in the preseason isn't built around getting Kuminga, an ultra athletic talent, integrated with the best shooter of all time? Like, how that doesn't work it makes no sense. That should have been the mission in the preseason, and they're feeling it now. I mean, it's been the same to me. Like, everyone was hyped about Jimmy, and I get it, but I saw the same issue that Kerr was going to have a problem integrating Kuminga with whether it was Wiggins or Jimmy Butler. That is the issue getting behind this thing. I don't want to go on too long, but Moody is a whole other level. Moses Moody is a whole nother extra layer on top of this that just makes it even worse. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, people forget that when Kuminga publicly called out Kerr, so did Moses Moody.
Yep.
It's just he was muted almost in comparison because Kuminga got all the headlines. No, both of them publicly complained and made trade requests, but Moses Moody got the contract extension. I think we're all happy for him in that front. Whereas Kuminga, who knows what's going to happen? But no, dude. I don't. It's just
so. Sai, do you think Kerr is going to throw Moody and Kuminga out there in the playoffs when things get real? Just raw? Okay.
No.
Yeah. I mean, he's thrown Moody out there before, right? Like, bench.
Well, I think Moody's finally earned his spot and he's in the starting lineup. But again, in that Rockets game, he only played 14 minutes. Why?
That Moody has been killing it when Pods was getting either at the 1 when Curry was out or Pods was injured. Moody was actually getting big time minutes at shooting guard, which is where we wanted him all year long. That's when he was killing it during this run. Since Pods has come back and Curry's his minutes have been in decline, and he's playing out of position at the 3. I know that starting lineup looks good or whatever, but there's a reason. So when you play out of position, when you're playing at a 3 or 4, when you're actually a 2, it's not just like positionless basketball. It means a bigger guy's guarding you. It means the best defender's guarding you because a worse defender could go on a smaller guy. It changes. Like, an open shot is not an easy shot anymore. After Klay went 0 for 10 in the last play-in tournament, Draymond said, there's a reason he missed all 10. He wasn't up for the game. He said that. You miss open shots for a reason when you're playing out of position. Moody is suffering from that right now. He's great. He hits shots, whatever. But I see the struggle when he's playing out of position with Buddy Hield and, 2 guards. Like, get that guy at the shooting guard, and it's lights out for the Warriors.
I want to bring Armando. Stay with me because you're killing it, and I'd love to get your perspective here because Nathan, I'm going to bring you on the show. I'm going to skip a few folks because Nathan here is a Kerr defender, and Armando, you've been on such fire. I want you to respond to Nathan tonight. Nathan, the floor is yours. What's on your mind, sir? You got to unmute yourself.
Definitely not a Kerr defender. I just have a little bit of a different perspective because I'm not in the crunch of Warrior Nation.
What are you in the crunch of?
Well, I'm in Orlando. I'm in Orlando, but I've been a Warrior fan since the We Believe era, so I followed from.
You don't have to live here to be in the crunch, brother. I promise you that. Like, that's if there's a positive to today's media paradigm and the advancements of digital technology, it's in Orlando. You could be on top of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I have a little bit of a balance, I think, and I think sometimes there's a little bit of lack of balance. So I love coming on here, bringing it.
What's the lack of balance? Where's the?
I think, like, when we win games, when we lose games, the whole conversation is Kerr, Kuminga, and I think there's just so many different facets of the game that are so wonderful. One thing I will say, because I really didn't want to focus on Kuminga and Kerr today, but one thing I'll say is when we look at those Warrior teams that were going on that run. People like David West, Saatsaz Pachulia, Spates, Livingston, they were getting between 15 to 18 minutes. And if you look at before Jimmy Butler, Kuminga was getting about 26 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And then you look after Jimmy Butler, Kuminga is getting about 27 minutes a game. So I think when it comes to
No.
this,
It went
Kuminga
down.
talk,
You mean 17? Did you mean 17?
no, the average after Jimmy Butler has come, he's been getting kind of comparable minutes, but the problem is they haven't been effective minutes, in my opinion, because I don't think Kuminga is being used properly. And so I think the problem that I see, because I've been wondering about this, I hear everybody talking about Kuminga, and that wasn't my goal to come in here and talk about that, but I think the issue is the system. This system is built around Curry and small ball and fast movement and ball movement. And Kuminga almost is more like a Giannis-like player, which almost would be better off if the game was slowed down just a bit. I think that he's going to be actually really good in the playoffs because the pace slows down. And you're not going to just go up and down the court every single position. So I kind of believe that Kuminga is going to have a great outing this playoff series, but I will say this,
If he plays.
I think he's going to play, and I think he's going to have a good series.
I don't know
But
why you think that, but I hope you're right.
because the game slows down, it's not as
All
up
right.
and down. But the problem I have, Cy, is that we are not the best 3-point shooting team, and we've thrived on this all these years. But Curry is a great shooter. After that, it's up and down. I don't know if I can trust Pods. I don't know if I can trust Moody. I don't know if I can trust Buddy Hield. And so when it comes to the 3-point shooting, which Curry thrives on, that ball movement, we're not a great 3-point shooting team consistently that you can depend on. Another thing I saw was that
Right. Agreed.
our offense gets a little bit stalled when Curry is off. So I know that Jimmy Butler's coming in, and he's kind of holding the ball and he's kind of looking at. But what I see with Kuminga is sometimes he'll get a little bit lost in the stalled nature of our offense, and I don't put that on him. But it's like I saw a couple of plays where it's like if he drives to the hole and he gets jammed up, and I don't know if that's trust on himself, injury trust, or if it's not belief in himself, but he'll get jammed up quite a bit trying to go to the hole, make spin moves, and it's not as flowing as it was prior to the injury. And so I just wanted to say, like, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on in the practices. We don't know what's being said. And so this, if Jonathan Kuminga plays 30 minutes, we're going to win the game. If he doesn't play 30 minutes, we're not going to win the game. Honestly, playing 25 minutes a game for Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors are 18-14. So I think that it's just a combined effort. We're not playing great team defense on the 3, and the offense is getting stalled when Curry is out the game. And I know Jimmy's still trying to figure himself out, but I think that's something to look at, because that's going to be an opportunity for teams to just blow by us shooting the 3 if we're stalling in the offense. Another couple of things I saw was that, defensively, listen, if
Real quick, Nathan, 1 second here. Before you go to the defense, I just want to add to what you were saying, and Armando, jump in at any point. The Warriors, I brought this up early in that Steve Kerr comment. I actually saved the very beginning of that Steve Kerr soundbite was him mentioning that they are a 3-point shooting team, right? Like he's not even ashamed of admitting that, which I don't agree with necessarily because of your point. I agree. Outside of Stephen Curry, there is no one on this team I fully trust as a 3-point shooter, as a high volume 3-point shooter. And the stats justify that. The Golden State Warriors are 16th out of 30 teams in 3-point percentage, yet they are second in 3-point attempts. Something is wrong there. That means they're putting up more 3-point attempts than they should, right?
I totally agree with you, Cy, and I think that's the challenge. I don't think Kerr is a bad coach, and I don't think Jonathan Kuminga is a bad player.
I don't think he's a bad coach either. I think he's a bad personnel evaluator is what I think.
I don't even know if I would say that, but I think that the system that the Warriors are used to
got
playing.
Fired as the GM of the Suns, Nathan, just in case you forgot. He got shit canned because he did a horrible job. But continue.
I can hear that. I'm just saying, I think that the system that the Warriors are used to playing from an offensive perspective, we don't have the personnel to do that at this stage because of the 3-point shooting. And so we're going to have to win. That's all I want to say. We're going to have to win these games through the defensive end. It's not going to be through the offensive end. If we're not great defenders, the Warriors have no shot. But I will say, today was like a master class when it came to defense. When you look at all of the deflections that Jimmy Butler got, Moody in the second quarter was just a menace. And I was wondering, Armando, you said this. I wonder if it's not so much just the offense. I wonder because Moody is expending so much energy on the defensive end. I mean, he's pretty much become our top defender. Is that affecting him on the offensive end? Because I mean, the tenacious defense he did in the second quarter was just ridiculous. It was amazing. But is that affecting him on the other side when it comes to offense? I don't know. And I'll say this, and I'll be quiet, Si, I promise. I don't like the way Jimmy Butler is playing right now. I know that it's great in regards to our wins, but I feel like he has to be more aggressive. There was a play, I think it was in the third quarter.
As a scorer, is that fair to say? Like you want him to be scoring? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
It's going to open up the realm where people can get open 3-point shots. At the end of the day, you throw it in, pass it out. But there was a play where he got all the way to the hole in the third quarter. He was like at a layup and he threw it to Pod. And I'm like, what are you reserving energy? Is that not a good shot for you? Like, if we don't see Jimmy Butler be more aggressive a little earlier in the game, I think that's why the offense is stalled, because he's not being his aggressive self a little bit sooner. I'm not saying the first quarter, but by the end of the second into the third, he's got to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. That'll open up the lanes. And if Kuminga could be more like that, what Jimmy Butler is doing, I think that he has a great place for the Warriors here. But without that, I don't think that the Warriors have a shot with that.
Armando, what are your thoughts on all that? Lot to unpack.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, Nathan. I would say a few things. I asked Cy earlier, do you think they're going to throw JK and Moody out there? That tracks with you saying they're going to play, because I do think playoffs is different. And that's kind of like where I'm antsy with the coaching. You say the system, I don't see those two things as different, is not getting ready for the playoffs. The motion offense, they don't run motion in the playoffs. They run Curry pick and rolls and get the thing going. You feel me? And I just wanted to address two things. JK getting jammed up when he drives. That's what's going to happen when you're playing with Kevon Looney. I mean, just watch Kevon Looney off the ball. And the whole thing with Moody getting tired, I love that point on defense. He's out there with Podziemski and Steph Curry. And so when you're playing with two bad defenders and you're being asked to guard the ball and help and recover, that's tired legs. I totally agree that's what's happening. And for me, I don't harp on Kuminga because I think he could be an all-star. I harp on him because I think simply playing him with the other wings will magnify their defense and make the game easy for the guys that can score. Like, if you're switching deflections, it don't fucking matter that he can't shoot. It's lights out. It's lights out. And I actually, when I asked Cy that question, are they going to throw those guys out there? I don't know, because you're right. The game does slow down. Pods is going to get isolated in the scouting report. I'm sorry. And it's going to be like a different game. And he's just going to roll those guys out. And it's like, have you developed those lineups? Have they developed synergy at all? I mean, that's like where I kind of see the pieces coming together to a flame out. Like, you feel me? So I'm not that far away from you. It's just a more pessimistic take on the same thing. So I appreciate you, but I'll shut up now.
So, no, you're good. You're good. And by the way, some people in the chat are asking like about the tiebreaker. Excuse me. My understanding is that if the Warriors win, like Bree CS, I see you writing a lot in the chat saying that if the Warriors beat the Clippers Sunday, but Minnesota wins out as expected, you're going to have a three-way tie. And how do the Warriors win out in that scenario? Well, first of all, if the way the three-team tiebreaker would work, if none of the teams are division winners, which is what's going to happen here, the Lakers win the Pacific Division. As weird as that sounds, still relevant in tiebreakers, division winners. And I haven't looked at division standings in like years probably. So it comes down to, in a three-team scenario like that, you have one of those things where you just do a gesture. Oh, we just lost them all together. In a scenario, for example, where three teams, in this case being the Warriors, Clippers, and T-Wolves, if they all finish tied, how's this going to work out? The tiebreaker will then come down to each other's records against one another, right? So, and this is a huge reason why it's going to be important for the Warriors to beat LA Sunday, so they could be 1-3 against them, and then 2-1 against Minnesota. So that comes out to like a 3-4 record. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. So then you got to look at the Clippers head-to-head versus the other two, and Minnesota's against the other two. And I don't have that in front of me, but I'm looking at multiple websites right now, and they're all saying, pardon me, is that the Warriors would finish 6th, and the Clippers would drop to 7th if they lose that game. I think Memphis is screwed altogether. Yeah, Nathan, any final thoughts from you?
I just Armando was saying that he was out there with that Moody was out there with Looney. No, what I was looking at, he was out there with Jimmy and Draymond, and that defensive lineup is a beast. And so I just say that if we have to focus a little bit more on the defensive end, because if we're going to go deep in the playoffs, it's going to be through defense. It's not going to be through this amazing offense that we've had all these years. At the same time, I do believe that JK and Moody are going to be big parts of the playoffs.
Agreed. Well, yeah, that's yeah. Nathan, you killed it. Congratulations, man. I wish I could, give you a prize, but we're not there yet. I want to get to the point. We're going to launch a merch store soon, and I want to get to the point where, like, for example, a night like this where Nathan just kills it. Armando, I don't know where he went, but you killed it as well. I can just give you swag, dude. I'm going to get to that point. This is hopefully going to become a bigger operation at some point. But Nathan, you killed it, brother. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Let's go to CJ in the chat. Floor is yours, and then Shardall, we're going to save the best for last. But CJ,
what's good?
You're up now. How you doing?
What's good? You can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, chat.
How you doing, brother? You good?
I'm all right, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. Where in the world are you? Let's start there.
Oh man, I called in here before, man. I'm in Indianapolis, man.
Oh, that was a while ago. Good to hear from you again, man. What's on your mind tonight?
I called in when I had to set the world straight about Jimmy Butler, man. Y'all was talking about.
I remember that. What's on your mind tonight, CJ?
So I want to weigh in on the Kuminga Wars. It's my favorite thing in Warriors land right now.
Please.
So basically, I want to say this. I do agree with the fact that he has trouble processing, but I don't think he's necessarily a low IQ player as far as people taking it.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Trouble processing? What do you mean by that? Can you be more specific?
Yeah, well, so metaphorically, I just feel like if it had to be a metaphor, I would say that if it was a standardized, if processing, like as far as what you're supposed to do and what moments, as far as if I make this certain move here, this defender has to react to me in this way, and this guy is going to be open for an open shot, things like that, right? So if problems like that was like a standardized test, I think he would score like 79 to 85% on that test, right? So I don't think he's a low IQ player. That's like a C- to B+ range where I'm at, right?
Fair.
So I just think his biggest problem is he just needs to continue to think the game. And I think he's gotten better in that aspect. And I only really think he has the gaps and lapses he has because the time that he's had to play and the short leash. Like if you don't get to make rookie mistakes in your rookie year, you're making them in your second year. If you don't get to make them in the second year, you're making them in your third year, right? So it is what it is with
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
And they really haven't like simplified his role as far as like the offense for something that's like anchored around what he does. Because he's a mismatch when he gets to, probably like, I don't know, 14 to 12 feet, right? They're not really, I see somebody talking about they running plays for Kuminga. They're not running nothing for him like that, in my opinion.
The Warriors don't run plays in general, except for after timeouts. Like ATOs, they'll have scripted plays, but otherwise it's a system. Like Kerr, Kerr might occasionally call a specific play, depending on the moment. But you're right. For the most part, it's just play and play within the system.
So here's what I'm saying. This is what I really called in to say, specifically about tonight. You could feel however you feel about Kuminga. If you got a problem with Kuminga tonight, you just a hater. And this is why I say this. He played 17 minutes, took 7 shots, generated more points than field goal attempts, and got to the line 8 times. I think he gave you like 5 boards and a block, like 17 minutes. If you complaining about somebody playing 17 minutes, you just don't like them. It's not about what they doing or how they did it. You just don't like them. I got players on like I said, the Warriors is not my first team. I got players on my team that I don't like. They play 17 minutes. I'm thanking God that it's not 25, especially if they produce like that, right? It's like, what is you don't want to 17 minutes, bro? You don't want them to play at all? That's the solution? I don't get it. Like tonight, you won. He only played. If you hate Jonathan Kuminga, tonight you won. He played 17 minutes. What is you complaining about?
5 boards, 10 points, and again, he's third on the team in scoring. Like,
But this is what
like
I'm
this,
saying. If you hate a player, if you truly hate a player that's a part of your rotation, and he plays 17 minutes, you should be jumping for joy.
it's like here are the real fast. Here are the scoring leaders for the Warriors. Stephen Curry averages 24.5 points per game. Second on the team, Jimmy Butler 17.3. Third on the team, Jonathan Kuminga 15.4. Fourth on the team, Brandon Pajemski 11.6. Yet Jonathan Kuminga is not routinely one of the 5 closers on this squad. Make it make sense. Just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like he should be playing more. I feel like he would be playing better if he was playing more. I think everybody feels like that. Well,
I think with this
feel like that, especially
CJ
early.
I think ultimately what this comes down to, let me know if you agree or not, is Steve Kerr made a choice, which is I don't believe in this kid. He's not a fit for my system. And the minutes reflect that. Then you have a fan base who doesn't follow the game super closely. They see 4 championships. And to them, that's all the information they need. This guy was the head coach for a team that won 4 championships. So when you have guys like me who pay attention to the nuance and literally seconds and all these minute measurables and analytics, and I'm sitting here calling Kerr out because he routinely does nonsensical stuff that makes no damn sense, just irrational decisions on a routine basis. But if you're not watching this team religiously, you're probably thinking, what is this guy saying? Why is he blasting a coach?
What you're talking about is the casual fan.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about. You're talking about the casual fan. And that's cool. We need casuals in the game, I guess, somewhat. But they just got to learn when to, not talk so much sometimes. These are the same people. These are the same people. No, I'm not bullshitting, bro. These are the same people that was saying, listen, these are the same people that said Steph was washed. You remember that? They was in the chat saying Steph was washed. He was too old. He ain't having no more. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
These are the same people that was saying Buddy Hield, like, oh no. Every fan base that ever had Buddy Hield was telling y'all, this is how it's going to end. This is how it's going to look in the end. The Kings fans were saying that. Pacers fans were saying that. Philly fans were saying that. But they, you know what they were saying? Nah, he just hasn't been in our system yet. Like, okay.
So, CJ, you sound like you know what you're talking about. What are your thoughts on Sunday, man? The Warriors and the Clippers, heavyweight bout. Rick Barry's joining me right after the show. Season's going to be officially over at that point, but this is a playoff game in my book, man. What do you see?
So I see it like this. If y'all, it's going to take a classic Steph performance. If y'all get that classic Steph on Sunday, y'all win. If y'all don't, it's over with. Because like you said, I think the Clippers is super serious. Super serious.
Dude,
they got Kawhi looking like, if Kawhi's gonna play a Kawhi, they a problem for anybody in the West. It's really as simple as that. But you got James Harden facilitating, scoring. You got Norman Powell that you can rely on. You got a couple defenders that more than a couple defenders you can rely on. And Norman.
I didn't even. Is Nicholas Batum still on that team, or did they trade him?
He just got done cooking somebody a few nights ago. I was looking at that. I forgot who it was. They just cooked some cats, man.
Dude, they're good. They're good. Like, honestly, would not surprise me if the Clippers won the championship this year. I know that's crazy to say, but would not surprise me, dude. Like, the Clippers are legit. By the way,
ain't that crazy. Listen, Kawhi, one of the greatest players we ever seen for real. So if he gonna be that player, it ain't that crazy.
And Kawhi Leonard is a fascinating player, man, for a lot of reasons. But I look back to 2017, 2018 in the San Antonio Spurs, and that organization made a choice. They chose their coach over the star player, and that franchise went into a deep pit of 8 years of mediocrity. That I will never pick the coach over the player. That's not how I roll, man. It is a lot easier to find a coach than it is to find a superstar player.
I think he wanted to leave though. I think he wanted to leave though. I don't think he tried to make it be like Pop versus me. I think Kawhi.
So it was a Spurs, like it was a city of San Antonio thing.
Well, nah, I think he just wanted to. He was trying to get to LA. They just sent him to the run.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what it was then?
I think he just wanted to get to LA.
So Pop, no matter what Pop did, like they would have lost him. Period.
If I remember it right, he was just done with the organization. I don't think it was like Pop versus Kawhi.
Makes sense.
But I mean,
so,
really though, you know how that's gonna go anyway. Even if it was.
But I just don't want the Warriors to make that kind of mistake, because a huge fear of mine is the Warriors. Kuminga moves on. This team picks Kerr. Kuminga moves on, and then a year from now, Kuminga's putting up 25, grabbing 10 boards, and whatever team he's on is suddenly is on the move. And you know that's the Warriors' fear too, man. That's why they haven't traded him at this point.
I agree.
Because they fear that.
I agree, because I think if he went to a different team, then he would be a better player right now.
Dude, he'd be lighting it up, dude.
But
He's got talent, man.
Listen, y'all talk about James Wiseman, and I'm not saying James Wiseman is what he is and all that stuff, but listen, he got with us for a few weeks. He just looked like a baller.
By the way, I'm looking at the tiebreak. I'm trying to figure out like why the Warriors would finish sixth if it was a three-way tie between the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Timberwolves. So the Warriors have a 4-4 if they win Sunday against the Clippers. They would have a 4-4 record against LA and Minnesota. Minnesota, I'm trying to figure out what their record is against the Clippers this season in terms of head-to-head, because that's what this comes down to.
They got Minnesota. Minnesota got tiebreaker over the Clippers, so I think that's why they would end up above y'all if y'all got to finish below the Clippers.
Well, so Minnesota, if I got this correct, they swept this season series with the Clippers. Yeah. So that explains it right there. So the Warriors would be 4-4. The Clippers, because they're 0-3 against the Timberwolves, I think that's where this comes down to, man. That's where the tiebreaker comes. Regardless, I'm reading multiple sources, multiple articles. I'm sorry, from credible sources indicating that if it ends up being a three-way tie, the Warriors get the 6th seed, and that's huge. That's big. So both teams will have a lot to play for Sunday.
Check me out though. I'm about to get back to some shit. Talk about this for me though. Talk about y'all possible first round opponents, because I don't know all that.
Well, it's so basically there's two options here. Either the Warriors win Sunday, they're the 6th seed. They play the Lakers in the first round. That starts the following, I think, Sunday, maybe Saturday. And then if they lose to the Clippers, then they play a play-in game Tuesday against the Grizzlies at home. And if they win that game, they're the 7th seed. If they lose that game, they play the winner of the Kings and the Mavericks for the 8th seed. Again, if you're a Warriors fan, you don't want any of this, dude. You just want the Warriors to win Sunday and have some time off.
Well, I don't know, man. Listen. I'm not saying y'all can't beat the Lakers, man. But if y'all not ready to, and I'm not trying to be funny, real shit. If y'all not ready to play 5v8, don't play the Lakers.
I think they could beat the Lakers. Is that? Do you think that I'm crazy about worrying about LA?
Can they beat the Refs?
Well, there's that too. But
that's the real. No, I'm not even joking.
You're right. You're right. No, I hear you, man.
That shit is real, dog.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. All right, y'all get to it, man.
Have a great night,
man. JK ain't no bum, man. Stop talking, bro. JK ain't no bum, man. He a good player. Just give him some time, bro.
CJ killed it tonight, dude. All right, and last but not least, as we wrap it up, let's go to Chardol. You're on the show tonight. Chardol, what are you doing, brother?
Hey, Cy. Great win for the Warriors. They take down Portland 103-86. That was a great victory. Warriors are a great organization. They work so well together. They rely on each other so well. That's what I like about this team. Everybody leans on each other for support when things are not going their way. I think you're great. I think you're a great host on at San Jose State and on Golden Days. I think you do a great job covering the Warriors. I love all your content.
Thank you.
You grind every single day. That's what I like about you. I'm
tired, man. Are you tired?
I'm tired, man.
I am too.
So I really like everything you do on the channel.
Thanks,
bro.
Thank you, brother.
Keep up the good work. Really keep up the good work.
Thank you. It's I appreciate you just for recognizing the hard work, because
I recognize the hard work that you put into it every single day. Because I'm trying to be like you too. I'm trying to be like you.
Well, yeah,
I'm trying to be like you. You know,
we're all. By the way, Abraham DeLeon, what do you think of this, Chardol? Saying 2 weeks ago you were claiming a championship, and now you're afraid of the Davis-less Lakers. Come on now. Yeah, I'm not. The Lakers don't scare me, Abraham. I'm with you. I don't.
What were your thoughts on the win tonight?
Yeah, it's I mean,
Portland. They don't have Lillard, so this team is not anything. Because when they had Lillard, this team was a big deal. when they had McCollum and Lillard, when they had Damian Lillard on Portland, they were like unstoppable. Like you could not
And
beat
CJ
them.
Leonard and
Now they
CJ
don't have
McCollum.
Lillard. Now they're not Portland anymore, right? Lillard was like the glue to Portland. Now he's gone. Portland is not Portland anymore.
But guess what, Shardall? Next year they're going to be good again.
They are going to be good next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to count on that they're going to be good next
I'll
year.
I'll tell you why. Because they got Scoot Henderson, who's finally emerging, Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons. We saw Klingon tonight. The dude's a beast inside. Can't do much else, but it just goes to show size matters in basketball. They got some talent there, man. Yeah, I think they're going to be good.
The regular season finale against the Clippers at Chase Center, they have to win that game. They have to win that
Are you
game.
going?
I'm gonna watch it on TV, but they have to win that game. If they lose that game, they're gonna drop to the play-in tournament. I mean, they're gonna drop to the 7th seed if they lose that game, right? So they have to win that game. They cannot drop to the 7th seed. They go to the play-in tournament. They have not, as like I've gone to ask many people on other channels. The Warriors have not won a single play-in tournament game. They played Sacramento Kings. They lost that. It got eliminated. Remember when they played Sacramento Kings in the
Oh,
play-in
yeah.
tournament? They lost that game. So
do you
they have
remember-
not won a
Do
single.
you remember in 2021 when they lost to Memphis and the Lakers in the play-in?
That was even more heartbreaking.
They were all heartbreaking. You're
The
right.
Kings.
They're 0-3.
I mean, the Kings. The Kings. The playing tournament when they played the Kings, that was heartbreaking. But I don't like Memphis or I don't like the Lakers. I don't like John Morant.
Val Sharpton in the chat saying the Warriors. Val, where'd you get this report from? I'm curious. Saying that the Warriors are looking at Anthony Simons, who's currently on the Trailblazers. Keegan Murray, also another possible nice addition if the team moves on from John Kuminga.
I think Val Sharpton was the same guy who said on the Island Paradise when you what do you want to do in an Island Paradise? Was that the same guy? Val Sharpton? Remember he made that comment that would you rather be massaged by women on an island paradise or something?
I don't know.
Was that the same guy?
I don't know. I remember. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if that
It
was
was
him.
the same guy. He made that comment that time when I was there. Remember when I was in the post game show and he made that comment?
I do. Young Wes is asking, what's the spread for the Warriors Clippers? That is not available yet. I tried looking that up. So far, no line.
Yeah, so I want the Warriors have to beat the Clippers at Chase Center because I went to my birthday and they were playing the Clippers on my birthday.
Your birthday's this Sunday?
No, when I went to Chase Center, they were playing the Clippers. So this is a revenge game because they play the same team on when we went to the Chase Center, and they were playing the same guy. And I got to see I got to get a pass to go up on the court and see Steph Curry warm up. And I saw Harden right in front of me.
G Martinez in the chat. First of all, I'm glad you saw Harden.
I literally got to see Harden right in front of my eyes.
G Martin in the chat saying the Warriors are favored by 4. That's Shardall. What would you bet on?
I'm gonna bet on the Warriors.
So you think the Warriors? That's a big spread in favor of the Warriors, man. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna go in favor of the Warriors over the Clippers.
I'm a little surprised by that. I'm checking to see if I can confirm that spread.
Are you surprised over that?
Because I would expect more of a closer line. Like I was expecting a pick 'em, maybe Warriors -1. For a game of that magnitude is big, I think.
I'm going Warriors over Clippers in the money in the spread.
I'm checking to see on MyBookie right now if the line is available there, just so I can confirm. Because I was trying to find it, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I don't know where G Martinez got that line from. G, if you don't mind following up by saying where you got that spread, just so I can confirm it. Anyways. Sure.
So
have a great night. Anything else?
I'm looking forward to that win on Sunday against the Clippers. We have to win that game. I can't emphasize it anymore. We have to win, we have to beat LA. We have to beat the Clippers.
Yes, sir.
I've been literally saying that like 5 times already. We have to beat LA. We can't lose.
Say it again.
We have to beat LA.
Agreed.
And Sai, it was great having. It was great that you had me as your last caller to wrap up the show for the night. Make sure to click the viewers, make sure to click the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell for Sai. He makes some
Please.
great Warriors content. So if you like everything this gentleman is doing, please
Not
go
if you're a
to
Steve Kerr fan. I'm not.
so if you're a fan, please go and click this subscribe button. But Steve Kerr is my coach, and I do not appreciate all the things you're saying about him. He can be the worst coach, but I'm still gonna support him. Sometimes you have to
I
keep your
respect
words
that.
to yourself. Sometimes you have to keep your words to yourself. Sometimes it's not good to say them out loud. If you if
Shirtle,
you
know I'm
disagree,
hosting
if
a
you if
program,
you
right?
disagree with
Where if
something, do
I
not
kept
say
those
it.
thoughts to myself, it would kind of kill the
But I'm
credible.
a big Kurt. Like when I'm not there, then you can say whatever you want to say when I'm not present. But when I'm present in the on the call, you cannot be saying those things.
Shirtle, I hope you realize moments like these are why you upset a lot of people, dude. No one likes to be told what to do. I hope. Are you aware of that, Shirtle?
I'm
Like,
aware of
if I
that.
told you what you can and can't say, would you like that?
I would not be happy if somebody told me what to do and what not to do.
Exactly, and you're doing that to me right now, and
No,
I'm
but
guessing
you're
that's why a lot of
but
people are
like
upset at you.
but
What?
sometimes when you say things about somebody like my coach, I
It's not
mean
your coach. You don't play for the Warriors.
no, but I like Steve Kerr. I'm a Steve Kerr fan.
Okay, all right. Well, again, I couldn't. My mo, my mission apparatus is being honest, being authentic. I will call individuals out in professional sports when they're doing a lousy job.
So
I'm sorry that you don't like that, man,
so
but
I'm
that's
I'm
just
cur-
how this is.
I'm currently at 381 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I need to get to 400 subscribers. So please have your viewers go to my YouTube channel at their latest convenience and give me some like on my channel because I'm at 381 subs. I'm almost to 400. Um, but
Good.
um,
You're getting there, buddy. Tell people one more time. How can they find you?
my YouTube channel is SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 381 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 400. Trying to get to 400.
Shardall, I'm gonna give you a favor right now. How do I find you? I'm gonna SGA Sports Talk, right?
SGA Sports Talk channel.
I'm gonna do you a good here, even though you just try to tell me what to do. Which again, I'm guessing that is why some people are not happy with you. But with that said, check this out. So this is your page, and I'm fully aware there's feedback because Shardall, you have me cranked up too high on your end, but that's okay. So this is your page. Why do you have a? So is this you, Shardall, next to Matt Cohen?
No, that's Grant Cohn.
Grant Cohen. I'm sorry. Yes, that's you?
Yeah.
All right. So did you have Grant Cohen on your show as a guest?
Yeah.
Good job. How was that?
Good.
All right. Look at this guy. You only have one video,
Yeah.
but then we go to live. Oh, you have a lot of live shows here. Okay. Look at this. See the subscribe button? I just pressed it.
Thank you.
Of course. So how many subscribers do you have now?
382.
Bravo, brother.
Sai, it was great having me on the show. Please show some love to this guy. Make sure to click that like button, smash that subscribe, and ring that notification bell for Sai in Golden Days.
Please.
In reference to the Matthew McConaughey movie, he does some great stuff. So show this man some love. And
Thank you.
and can I come on as a co-host? Maybe during the playoffs.
I'll say maybe. How about that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
But it was great that you made me the last caller. That's an honor that you made me the you saved the best for last.
Sure.
I really
Shut up. Let me
appreciate
get this
that.
before we go. What are your Friday night plans?
I'm just getting ready to go to bed. I worked out with the trainer today.
Look at you.
We worked on push-ups, pull-ups, ladder climbs, sit-ups, push-ups. Trying to
Shardall,
get
before you go real fast. If the Warriors don't win the championship this season, I already made this commitment. I'm going to do a 24-hour filibuster episode. 24 straight hours of Golden Days. You can join me for an hour of that if I do that. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. And if
Okay.
if the Golden State Warriors get eliminated from the NBA playoffs, I'm gonna go to the convenience store and buy 2 cans of Monster and chug 2 cans of Monsters.
G Martinez is asking how many pull-ups can he do, Chardol? I think the most I ever did at one time was 20. This was at the peak of my powers when I was surfing like every
I
day.
could do
I can't
30.
do that now.
I could do
Where are
30.
you at? How many pull-ups?
I could do 30 pull-ups.
Wow, bravo, buddy. So all you need is a girlfriend to show off and you're set, right?
Yeah, I'm set.
All right. Well, you're doing a good job. Keep it going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you Sunday, right?
I'll see you Sunday. I love you bring a lot of humor.
I try, man.
You definitely lift my you
Life
definitely
is too serious, brother. Life is just crazy. This world
you
is
inspire
crazy,
you inspire me.
I thank you, brother. Chardol, have a great night.
You should be a motivational speaker.
Thank you.
And a comedian. And a comedian.
Thank you, brother. Have a great night. I appreciate Chardol. Let's go to the scoreboard as we start to wrap it up here on a Friday night following the Golden State Warriors beating a hapless Trailblazers team, setting up a monster game Sunday against the Los Angeles Clippers. Again, Rick Barry, the Hall of Famer, one of the brightest minds in basketball, will join me immediately following that episode. He'll join the show for about the first 30 minutes, and then Ryan Leong will join immediately after live from Chase Center. I will welcome audience members as well if time permits. That is the agenda. That is the itinerary for Sunday. Again, a massive game against the LA Clippers. Huge stakes on the line. And for now, let's see what happened in the rest of the NBA leading into Sunday. And yes, G Martinez was correct. DraftKings was the first sports book that at least I've seen that has posted a line for Warriors and Clippers. Sunday, the Warriors are incredibly 4.5 point favorites, a line that I think is much bigger than I anticipated. I thought they were going to say pick 'em, maybe Warriors -1. It's a big line. I'll leave it at that. Much bigger than I anticipated. Over under is 221.5. Oh my God. And the money line is the Clippers are plus 154. The Warriors are minus 185. Wow. So the bookies are like laying the Clippers as like big underdogs. That's pretty crazy to me. Young West thinks the line's going to move. I agree. Again, the bookies set these lines based on public perception, right? How the general populace feels about things. It doesn't necessarily reflect what the bookies think about the game itself. And so something tells me people, or at least the bookies, anticipate folks betting on a big Stephen Curry game. That's a big line, man. That is a big line. Heel EK is asking, do I like veggie games? I don't know what a veggie game is. I'm sorry. You're also saying I have a twitch. Am I twitching? Oh boy. I'll try to calm down, I guess. All right. Thank you for the kind words. Fal Sharpton's asking, is Chase Center hard to get in and out of? Depends on where you are, but no, not really. Although I guess if there's a Giants game, are the Giants at home? That's when it gets really nasty in terms of getting in and out. Julian Bashir saying that he's going to get a tattoo of Chardol wearing glasses if he can prove he can do 30 pull-ups. All right, so we want video evidence. Sounds good. All right. Charles Quinn wants respect on Buddy Hield name, adding that he believes if Post and Hield play meaningful minutes against the Clippers, the Warriors will win. To which I'll say this. Oh, I can see why you see the twitch. I was like, kind of, okay, I get it. I'll stop doing that. Here's what I'll say about that. Buddy Hield hasn't even played one full season with the Golden State Warriors yet. Let's hold off on judgments, opinions until after the season. Because you're right, Buddy Hield could end up being like a savior of this team if he has an unbelievable postseason. He could also draw the disdain and ire of Dub Nation if he has a lousy postseason. To be determined when it comes to Buddy Hield. And so you have folks like Heel EK saying, I don't trust Buddy Hield. Boris Schusterman is asking, am I doing Giants after B-ball is over? You mean like San Francisco Gigantes? No, I don't do baseball. When Warriors season ends, the plan is free agency talk. The Warriors will not have a first-round draft pick, so it's going to be free agency. My guess is there's going to be a lot to discuss if the Warriors experience an early exit. Starting, obviously, with what the hell is going to happen with either or Steve Kerr, Jonathan Kuminga. If the Warriors get bounced early, both of them are not coming back next year. Outside of Steve Kerr making like a full-blown commitment to the front office to Jonathan Kuminga, saying he will play. I'm done being a peculiar asshole when it comes to treat this kid. He's going to get minutes. He's going to get respect. If Steve Kerr tells the front office that, maybe Kuminga gets the extension and he stays. But outside of that, either Kerr's blown out of here and the Warriors move on with the next phase of their organization's rich history, or Steve Kerr stays and Jonathan Kuminga is signed and traded to someone else. That would be my prediction on that. Julian Bashir adding trade Moody this offseason. You never know. I mean, he's scheduled to make 13, 14 million. You never know. I have no idea what's going to happen, but all right. What happened in the NBA today? Well, let's go to the scoreboard here. On a Friday night, April 11th, 2025. The LA Lakers clinched the 3 seed tonight. They defeated the Houston Rockets 140-109. Luka Doncic, 39 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists in the win. Cam Whitmore, 34 points, 8 rebounds in the loss for the 2 seed Houston Rockets. The LA Clippers barely hung on to defeat the Sacramento Kings tonight. 101-100, the final in that game. Did anyone in the audience who's still with us here, I know we're down to 200. We've been at this for 2.5 hours? Jesus Christ. I had no clue. Okay, we're wrapping this up faster. Jesus, I'm sorry. No wonder why there's only 281 left in the chat. I was going to ask, did anyone actually watch Clippers and Kings? Because that was a close game, man. Kawhi Leonard played 42 minutes and scored 28 points. James Harden played 43 minutes, scored 23 points. So this was a battle. Derrick Jones Jr. adding 11. Ben Simmons played 12 minutes. Bogdanovich played 21 minutes. And Drew Eubanks played 2 minutes. So that's the bench. All right, so Patrick Baldwin Jr. we're probably not going to see in Sunday's game. All right, so the Clippers, I'm glad I'm watching this right now. So the Clippers are likely going to bring a 9-man rotation, and their starting 5 is likely going to get heavy minutes. Chris Dunn is the one starter who does not get starter minutes per se. What I mean by that is Chris Dunn tonight played just 22 minutes. Derrick Jones Jr. played 25. And again, Bogdanovich added 21. So that is what we're going to be expecting to see Sunday at Chase Center. A heavy dosage of Kawhi Leonard, heavy dosage of Zubac, who played 36 minutes tonight at 17 points, 11 rebounds. James Harden, a heavy dose of him. He played 43 minutes, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists for Harden. That's a triple-double. Norman Powell had 16 points in this game, was 2 of 3 shooting from deep. Derrick Jones Jr., 11 points in his 25 minutes, added 2 steals. Ben Simmons did practically nothing in his 12 minutes, but again, his size is an issue for the smaller Warriors team. And then Bogdanovich, 2 points in 21 minutes of play. I'm guessing his value primarily comes in spacing the floor. But, ooh, that's crazy. Okay, so that's what's going to come to Chase Center Sunday. Again, heavy dose of Kawhi, Zubac, Harden, Powell, and then you're going to see minutes spread out between Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., and Bogdan Bogdanovic, with who knows who else getting some scat minutes here and there, but that is what to expect. Oh, boy. Ooh, Dice Boy in the chat saying that James Harden threw a turnover and almost sold the game at the end. Oh, boy. Hey, EK, thank you for the love, asking people to hit that like button. Apparently, the algorithm respects it. Any other paid chats, by the way? I apologize for not going back to that. There was one I missed, and I feel bad for that. I apologize to you. Ryan23000 dropping $1.99, saying the drop in Quinn Post minutes makes me crazy. Again, keep in mind he was ill, missed 2 games because of what I'm guessing was food poisoning, and Quinn Post in tonight's game, first game back after missing the previous, I believe 2, played 15 minutes, 34 seconds, 2 of 5 shooting from beyond the arc in this game, finished with 10 points and 1 rebound. Quinn Post is in 2 of the team's top 3 net rating leading lineups. So that's important stat when we talk about Quinn Post. Yadamin saying that Moses Moody in the 2022 postseason that the Warriors won a championship in got minutes. He was actually starting games, I believe, in the Dallas Mavericks series. That was the Western Conference Finals. The Western Conference semis against Memphis, Jonathan Kuminga was getting starts as well. HI in the chat saying you want Kerr to play unproven players. I wouldn't call any of the players on the Warriors roster unproven at this point. And again, Brees ES bringing up the tiebreaker. We touched on that earlier. If the Warriors win Sunday, they will be the 6th seed. So you don't have to worry about that there. Young West 79 bringing up the Houston Rockets going back to 1995. They were the 6th seed when they won the championship, their 2nd straight. That is correct. All right, so going back to the scoreboard, but again, that was crazy. So the Clippers just escaping Sacktown with a 101-100 win. Makes me wonder if that's why the line is Warriors minus 4.5, because they beat Portland's ass tonight. LA barely escaped Sacramento. Phoenix Suns 117-98 winners tonight over the Spurs. Kevin Durant played his last game for that organization a while ago. Very curious to see where he goes next year. Houston and Miami would be my 2 predictions. More likely Houston because they have a lot of assets they can give back. The Thunder beat Utah tonight, 145-111, to pick up their 67th win of the season. The Denver Nuggets, this was a big game, hanging on and defeating the Memphis Grizzlies 117-109 to stay undefeated in the new Adelman era. The Nuggets improving to 49-32. Memphis dropping to 47-34. Nikola Jokic, 26 points, 16 rebounds, 13 assists in the win. Desmond Bane, 24 points, 6 rebounds in the loss. Nikola Jokic will become the 3rd player in NBA history to average a triple-double over the duration of a season. Now, Healy K, you are the man or woman. I don't know what your gender is, but thank you. Thank you. Nathan J. Shaw saying he thinks the Warriors can beat anyone if they play their game focusing on defense. Agreed. Wholeheartedly agree. Sean's asking, can I come to the championship? Dude, look, Sean, if the Warriors win a championship, I'm gonna get a sponsor. I'm gonna find like a good location to sponsor this party, and of course, everyone's welcome, man. We're gonna rage. You're gonna see like the ugliest side of me imaginable, and I'm saying that in the best way imaginable, if that makes sense. Meaning, I'm gonna be sloppy in all the good ways you could think of. I don't drink much. You're gonna see me drink if that happens. So yes, Sean, you will be invited. Nathan Shaw, yes, you will be invited. 100%. God, if only we can dream. 2 weeks ago, I thought it was a certainty, but you got to play the right players. Going back to this scoreboard. Finishing up here, the Minnesota Timberwolves, 117-91 winners tonight over the Brooklyn Nets. They finished the season Sunday playing the Utah Jazz at home. That's all but a lock. Rudy Gobert, 35 points, 11 boards in the win. And Minnesota is now 48-33. But the Warriors beat them 3 out of 4 times this season, which in hindsight is huge. The Dallas Mavericks, 124-102 winners tonight at home, over the Toronto Raptors. Anthony Davis, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. We call that a triple-double. So AD has been playing well since he came back. The Miami Heat drop in 153 points in a win tonight over the New Orleans Pelicans at New Orleans, 153-104. God damn. The Chicago Bulls, 119-89 winners tonight over the Washington Wizards. The Cleveland Cavaliers won their 64th game of the season tonight, beating New York in New York, 108-102. The Boston Celtics winning their 60th game of the season, 130-94, the final over Charlotte. And the Atlanta Hawks, 124-110 winners over the Philadelphia 76ers. Atlanta is now 39-42. The Orlando Magic are back above 500. 129-115 winners tonight at Indiana. Orlando improves to 41-40. The Pacers drop to 49-32. And last but not least, the Milwaukee Bucks, 125-119 winners tonight over the Detroit Pistons. Milwaukee improving to 47-34. Detroit dropping to 44-37. Giannis Antetokounmpo, a lot of triple doubles tonight. Giannis had 32 points, 11 rebounds, 16 assists in the win over Detroit. And we've covered the standings quite a bit, but we'll do it again because it's insanely relevant and important. And I'll share my screen for this here. Oh, Boris. See, why can't Steve Kerr think like this? Boris Schusterman in the chat saying Jimmy Butler should start at the 2, JK at the 3. It's a shame. Such a shame. Because you're right. Charles Quinn in the chat saying Sunday's matchup is a playoff game. Damn right. And hammering that from the get-go tonight. It is an epic game. 100% correct. So we look at the standings. Let me share my screen here so you all can see, at least on the YouTube side of things. I always think about the podcast audience. Please, if you're listening to this on the podcast, don't ever think for a second that I don't view you as an equal in all this. You are a priority to me. There are a good number of you, so I just don't want you ever thinking that. But the YouTube audience does get to see the standings here. And right now, so a lot of the picture is pretty clear now. So the OKC Thunder are going to be the number 1 seed. Goes without saying. They clinched that a long ass time ago. Houston locked in the number 2 seed. The LA Lakers have locked in the 3 seed. The Denver Nuggets. Who do they play on Sunday? Hold on, look this up real fast here. Because I don't think they have their position locked. That's funny. There are no games Saturday. So the NBA is off tomorrow. If I have this correct. So Sunday is just going to be a huge lineup of games. All 30 teams playing, all the games starting at either 10 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Denver will finish the season at Houston. So I imagine if they win that game, they have the 4 seed locked. If they lose that game and the Clippers beat the Warriors, then the Clippers are the 4 seed, Denver's the 5 seed. And I'm guessing Minnesota would be the 6 seed, and the Warriors would become the 7 seed. So that's where we're at. And then obviously against Sunday, we have Clippers and Warriors. Massive game. Both teams, the teams are separated by one game. The Clippers are 49-32, Golden State 48-33. The Minnesota Timberwolves are also 48-33, but the Warriors own the tiebreaker over them. The Warriors win the tiebreak in a three-way tie if we get both Minnesota and the Clippers in the mix. Memphis is locked in at the 8th seed. I think regardless of what happens, I believe. And then Sacramento and Dallas are your 9 and 10. So Sunday, it'll be over. And then we'll figure out what happens in the postseason. Sincerest thanks to everyone jumping in. Nathan J. Shaw asking, can the Warriors still get 4? No. The highest they can get is 6. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sunday's a big one. And I imagine a lot of you will join the show. Again, Rick Barry is going to jump on with me right after the final buzzer. And we're going to hope it's a celebratory afternoon. And we'll give you all the coverage then. If the Warriors do win Sunday, next week I'm going to try to just make it a guest-laden show. I'm going to try to bring some big names. And it's going to be a Warriors-Lakers preview week is what that's going to be. I'm excited for that if that's what happens. If the Warriors lose Sunday, then we start previewing Warriors-Grizzlies at Chase Center on Tuesday. So here we go. This is it. Kenneth, come on the show next time, please. I'm sorry. It's just really late. I appreciate you, though. I'm sorry, man. It's just I didn't realize how long we went tonight. 2 hours, 45 minutes. That is insanity. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate all of you. We'll be back at this soon. So big marbles, big day, high stakes. Warriors, Clippers, Sunday. We'll be going live at approximately 3 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see you then. Thank you, everybody. Go Warriors. I think that's it. Bye-bye.